Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'at, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
All right. Peace, family. I don't know if y'all, I don't know how y'all feel about, missing last week's episode, but we're gonna try to keep it nice this week. So this week, obviously, the two big headlines are gonna be about wasteful spending in Africa, and of course about this Nigerian who was caught stealing organs. But we're gonna really get into it, I mean, it's easy to just say, oh, he's stealing organs, but it's a real moral dilemma. He has a daughter, for instance. We'll go into it, but he's a daughter who needed some organs, and there was a homeless kid who who had organs but needed some money, and that sounds awful. But, when you're in that position as a father, like the awful starts to sound reasonable. We're going to get into it. We're going to really discuss this, get serious with this. But before we get started, let me remind you that I'm part of a podcasting network called KWAZ Radio.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right, let's get into it. So, fam, how y'all doing? That's what I want to know. Oh, what am I missing? I just realized what I'm missing. I'm missing some damn background music. But yeah, let me know how y'all doing, man. This is it's excited to be back. I was actually in the there was this thing called the what's it called? The International African Arts Festival. I was there yesterday. Nobody recognized me, which is interesting. I even approached Asar Motap, and he's just like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Nah, he's a good brother. Really good brother. Like I tell you, that was like my. I got scholars that I like in America, and I got two I like, and so he's one of them. Him and Otter Wafo are I would say the two best scholars in America as far as I'm concerned, right? Kofi says greetings. Bitter Medicine says greetings all. I'm a Bookman says good morning. So, and you guys can see that up on the screen. So yeah, I appreciate everybody showing up, coming through. That was a really good experience. And let me shout out this other brother that was there. So I brought my son with me. My son, he's not too sociable. I mean, he's still developing the social skills. Let's say it that way, right? And so there's this little boy who don't want to play with him. This little boy got a ball or something, and my son wants to play with the ball, and in turn, kind of plays with the boy while he's playing with the ball. And the boy kind of I don't want to play with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here chilling in the park with my dad. I don't want to play the ball. But his father's rolling up a joint in the playground for some reason. But his father's like when I come later, because I see my son kind of bothering this kid, and this, it's a gigantic ball, bigger than the kid. My son just dribbles it and then slaps it away or something. I don't know, right? But when I walk up and I see the father, whatever, the father's like, "Hey man, I saw this happening," and I was telling my son, "Don't." I was telling my son, what he says. He said, "That's your brother," basically he recognized his son didn't want to play with another kid, and he was another black kid, two black kids, whatever. He said, well, because of that, he was like, "Look, treat that guy like your brother, more or less," And, even though his son was still running away like that, the thing I liked about it was, you know, and this is just a regular, you know, regular hood brother. Like I said, he rolling a joint in a park. You know what I'm saying? like in a playground, not even like in a park, in a playground, right? But at the same time, he still had that Pan-African love, you know, that Pan-African spirit. So, you know, shout out to that brother too, you know, and all that. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of like, you can't really knock the Pan-Africanism out of black folk here in America, because this kind of experience that is here in America kind of forces you to be a Pan-African, you know, forces you to see another black face and feel and like recognize the connection. Now, granted, I was at a Pan-African event, you know, but notwithstanding, you know, like that's gonna stay. And of course, you know, when they played some music, you know, they played that South African song, you know, I mean, they played a lot of music. I'm not gonna hold you, but at one point they, you know, when the live performances were done, they played some of the, you know, just some commercial music, so you get like the line dancing going on. And one of them, of course, they start off with that South African Jerusalem. Then they went to the Macarena. No, not the Macarena. The what's that song called? You know, everybody does it. Oh, the Electric Slide. You know, and that's like a Caribbean singer, right? And then they went to that, you know, everybody clap your hands, clap, you know, they just, and it's like, that's the, and everybody kept dancing. Nobody was like, oh, let me step out, let me step back. You know, I ain't dancing to this, you know, foreign shit, you know? It's, you know, like Pan-Africanism is here, you know, and it's not just in America, it's everywhere, really. And it's growing, and we can't lose sight of that. And we just have to keep connecting on even on that sort of social level. We just need to keep connecting. Obviously, we need a deeper and stronger Pan-Africanism. We're going to talk about that later with these new transitions. But and by the way, wait for the ABA transition. That one's fire. But we need to do all that. Okay, like we need to recognize that Pan-Africanism is still going strong in this country, and no matter the xenophobe, or not just this country, on this planet, and no matter the xenophobia. Right? No matter the xenophobia, we're going to win. Right? We're going to win. Ket is here. It says, greetings, fam. Learning Curve is here. Greetings. So thanks. Appreciate everybody. But before we get started, let's just get right into it. Let's go into the BANs for the week. But before we do it, let's see what this transition is.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum. Okay. Motherfucking BANs, man. I hate them. Oh my gosh. All right. Where we at? We got to change the screen back. So motherfucking BAN. Y'all saw that shit? Oh my gosh. All right, let's put on some motherfucking music. All right. Can I give a hug? Okay. All right. Wait, hold on a second. I hear a metronome going on. These motherfuckers put on a metronome on my shit. Hold on a second. Nah, hold on a second. Why I got this metronome? Ptah Htp. All right, hold on a second, because y'all hear that bullshit metronome for some reason. I can't be vibing to no motherfucking metronome. I didn't change my settings by mistake. Give me 2 seconds. Wait, is this? Give me 2 seconds, because I can't be messing with no damn metronome. That shit corny as a motherfucker. Whatever. I can't do nothing about it right now. All right, so let's go. Homeless boy. On second thought, I'm not saying anything about this one. So let's see. What is it that, on second thought, I'm not going to say anything about? I got to change that metronome. That shit's annoying. Oh, yeah. I said shit about this. So, whoa. We're going to talk about BANs. We're going to turn this music off because that shit's annoying. I'm not going to hold y'all. I don't know. Like, I heard this metronome before when I was doing some other recording, and like I was able to turn it off, but for some reason I can't turn it off right now. Oh, I got it right here. It says take off the metronome before I'm playing back. All right. What's better? All right. So anyway, so yeah. So look, I'm not gonna say shit about this story. Shit. When we talk about BANs, I don't know how I make this one the headline. I should have looked back at what these stuff were. But like I said, I ain't saying shit about this story. Nothing. I ain't saying nothing about this story. They burned him alive, then ate his flesh. That's all I need to say. That's all I need to say. I ain't even gonna call them BANs. I'm just reporting the news. Don't let them know, you know, that I call them BANs. Because, you know, we talk about burning motherfuckers alive and eating their flesh. All right. So I guess this is the gentleman right here. My Namia RDC. It is the human flesh of Mr. Semutubo, which is consumed by these young people with the bread. Setombo was lynched and burned alive on the ground that he is Rwandan. Like on the grounds that he is Rwandan, right? So you're in the Congo, you're in the DRC, and these people not only kill him. So this guy, he's Rwandan, right? They not only kill him, they then burn his flesh and eat him. That's his flesh, and they're sitting around eating him, right? And of course, you know, cannibalism and such, you know, there are stories of it throughout Africa, and a part of it is that, you know, you don't really want to mess with people who will eat your body, you know? Not that, you know, killing you is enough. Not that killing you wasn't enough, but to intimidate you, but yeah. And for those of you who don't want to see somebody allegedly eating somebody's flesh, don't look. But yeah, this is it. He's like, that's the flesh, and I'm eating it with bread. And this other guy, and you see the disgust he drops this guy's body. So that this burned husk is allegedly the guy's body part. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So it says the cannibalism invites itself to the murder of the Rwandophones in the DRC. The unpublished scene takes place at Kalima in the province of Maniema. Young people practice killing, burning, and feeding on the bodies of their victims. Hate and xenophobia have bewitched many of our compatriots. Yeah. So like I said, I'm not even saying shit, because see, I actually want to go to DRC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to walk around DRC, but yeah, if I walk around DRC and somebody says, hey, did you say I was a bitch ass? And I'm like, excuse me? You know what I'm saying? Before I know it, I'm being burned and eaten. Like, wait, hold on. So this proves that you are not Congolese. I do not see if Congolese worthy of the name. Despite our problems and weaknesses, going down and demonizing his own country for the benefit of the neighbor. This confirms that the M23 is not a movement of the Congolese, but rather the Rwandans. So this fool is going to say, this is not a Congolese. This is what the Rwandans are eating themselves. Come on. And the thing is this too, like the thing you're going to pick up from this video is you got tons of people in the background sitting around recording, you know? And the thing is that, like, here's the thing that white people could do. White people could pause this movie. Okay, you see this roof? It's blue. You see this roof is brown or something, right? This one's supported with these sort of things. This one has the trees right here, okay? You can go onto Google Maps, right? And if you, well, obviously you could write an algorithm for, you know, some computer to detect blue next to brown. Now it might be pretty common, but you can localize it, find where the trees are, right? Based off of the lighting, you could say where the sun is, and therefore which direction you're facing, right? Based off of the shadows, so on and so forth, and you know, time of day, I guess. All that kind of stuff. You can locate these children. You can ask around. You could inquire. You could inquire. You know, eventually find out who these people are or what have you. Not assuming. I mean, and here's the thing. So these people might not be from this area, might not always be in this area, right? But these people, the locals, more likely are, because the thing with children as well as women is that usually you don't move them around as much. But particularly not children, particularly not children. Usually don't bring them around as much. Now, obviously, this is not the best video to do that kind of, intelligence on, because it's a bad angle. It's not a wide shot. It's not a panoramic shot. There are quite a few other videos that could assist in that kind of stuff. But the point is that the reason why I would even bring that up, just to say that, people right here are saying these are not Rwandans, and these are not Congolese. But you could go there, figure out, hey, are these Congolese or Rwandans or not? If nothing else. And of course, obviously, they're Congolese. Obviously, that's not even why would the Rwandans? No. But this is a thing. Eating human beings is sometimes a thing, and it's done to really intimidate other people. It's a good intimidation tactic, because like y'all heard me say, I'm not even gonna talk about it. You know what I mean? Because that's some old shit. And I want you to understand too that burning people and dividing their body parts, that was something done in America for especially until recently. With the whole lynching and stuff, they used to burn people and then partition their body and divide them up too. So it's not like it's unique to Africa or Africa's development. It's realistically something that people do. So this is another video. It says fighting has, and see, I want y'all to realize when you ask people why they leave their country, right? This is part of we're gonna juxtapose my day from this. In fact, I should have showed you guys the video from yesterday. I took some video while I was at the International African Arts Festival. And by the way, how's my audio? I decided to change my mic. But I took some video while I was at the International African Arts Festival, and it's a nice peaceful vista. Now compare that with this, okay? This is fighting has broken out between local Congolese and anyone speaking basically the Rwandan or Ugandan languages. They need all our prayers. So the thing I want you to realize or recognize is that this is real life. This is real life. Whereas you juxtapose it with, I think this is that. This is the video of me at a Juneteenth, several Juneteenth events, right? Me at several, and it wasn't even on purpose. I was just chilling with I just walked by a park with one of my friends. So I was just out, and I bumped into my friend and passed by 5 different events in Prospect Park. These are Juneteenth events. As much as black folk are ugly online, we're living beautiful lives offline. Go outside. So you gotta juxtapose that video from before to this. So this is the life this is the scenery and the backdrop that we kind of live in the West. And then there's the scenery and the backdrop that other people are living in Africa. Some people, obviously, not everybody, right? And then the question becomes, well, why are they leaving? So if I'm saying it's like the whole Instagram model sort of thing, where white people, if you don't know, white people are really beating themselves up over the head because they can't fulfill beauty standards as portrayed by Instagram. And what Instagram does is it kind of shows you photoshopped images of white women, right? And then white women are struggling to look as good as the computer generated women, right? Or the altered, the photoshopped women. And it's that's what it is. As we in the West are putting up images of, hey, black people doing well for themselves. And not just in the West. Obviously, this is done in Africa too, where you have images of black people doing well for themselves, right? And then you have to juxtapose that with the reality of some people in Africa, which is the video before. This is not like a made up video. You understand? This is not a made up video. This is how some people are living. Like this gentleman, the one in the car, he's just trying to deliver something or taxi somebody, right? And there's gunshot. These are other people. Everybody's running. And this is not a life that you want. Now, I don't know if this is a daily occurrence. I don't know if this is a weekly or a regular occurrence. But the reality is this, that when that happens even more than once, right, you mentally, right, are withdrawing. Especially if you know that there are other places where this isn't a thing. A lot of us listening to me right now never saw this. Especially not in the West. We never saw this. Huddles of people running. In fact, the only time I saw huddles of people running was watching videos of 9/11. And back then, a lot of people were like, yeah, we got to leave. You understand? A lot of people were like, whoa, they're flying planes into buildings? Okay. What's the next safest country? And that was only once. Anyway, let's see what the comments are like. I've been neglecting the comments. It's been a minute. My feet hurt. I've been walking around standing all the time. KW Down 7 says, Mink Slide put this on his Twitter timeline to support his agenda. He put what on it? Is this a propaganda piece to deter us from uniting? Bit of Medicine said, this mic is great. Appreciate it. Learning Curve says, is this a propaganda piece? Which one? You talking about the Rwandan Biden thing? I mean, like, it's not going to deter you from, like, I don't think it's going to deter anybody from uniting as much as, you know, we just have to recognize that there are a lot of people who, like, there's just a lot of people who are vicious. I mean, and that's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like you could, like, you go into the hood and you say some dumb shit, you know, somebody will, like, shoot, like there are people in the hood with grenade launchers and shit. You know what I mean? It's not like there aren't some people, whether black, especially white, obviously, but like some black people who are like just a little bit more vicious than the rest of us. You know? Real Black Gentleman says, good morning, fam. But there are black people who are just a little bit more vicious than the rest of us, and we just like we can't ignore that. You know? The cannibalism. KW.7 is saying the cannibalism video. Yeah, I mean, like that's just like at the end of the day, that's just a reality. Not everybody has your moral standard, you know, and like you just have to come to terms with that not everybody has your moral standard. And once you come to terms with that, you know, this sort of stuff doesn't even like this thing doesn't faze you. Like, it sucks, it's unusual, it's whatever, but like it shouldn't faze you. Nobody, like, we all grew up in different locations and different locales with different so on and so forth. And then on top of that, you know, some people may have mental illnesses or some people may understand like some people will go that route and try to intimidate you, you know, like they'll go that route, you know. Biggie Smalls has this song that I remember where I was like, when you listen to the lyrics, I never heard the song, but I heard this part of the lyrics. And it's a smart tactic, right? You set a house on fire, and as everybody's running out, you gun them down at the only exit. Okay? That's a smart tactic. You know, I heard him rapping that, and I'm like, that's a smart tactic. You know, you burn the house, people are running out, they only could go one place, right? As they're running out, you gun them. They're caught. Okay? Now, it's a song by Biggie, right? However, like, yeah, I heard that's kind of stuff happens in Jamaica. Or that sort of stuff happens, like obviously it's a military tactic. It probably happens all over the world, you know? So, you know, and I heard the story happening in Jamaica in the sense that this whole family was killed in that way. They set the house on fire, everybody ran out, and the whole family, you know, the boys, the children, the women, the men, all ran out the front entrance, and they were all gunned down by the rival, so on and so forth. You know, that's like cruelty and all that kind of stuff. It's just a part of what the human experience is. However, That being said, the fact that it's a part of the human experience, right? It tells us that a lot of us kind of live these curated existences by the West. And therefore we kind of forget that realistically the world is in turmoil. You know, the world is in turmoil. Partly because of the West, but partly because humans are tumultuous. You know, say for what it's worth. I mean, obviously, a lot of this is related to the West, but it doesn't dismiss the fact that there's a lot of things going on, and we just have to we have to be cognizant of it, and we have to be realistic about it. You know, I wouldn't say this is a propaganda piece. This is just realistically what it is. You know, people are destroying each other. There's another one. So this is Ecuador's regime is at war with its own citizens. Media and reporters would condemn every bit of this if the scenes came out of a country with a socialist government. So this is Ecuador. You know? Same thing. This is not even African people. It's not even black people. You understand? And these people are also refugees and migrants all over the world too. It's this reality that this is what humans are going through. You know? This is what humans are going through. And we just have to concede to this, that, you know, whereas we may live these comfortable, peaceful, you know, prison-like lives, you know, that's not a universal, and we just have to go along with it. So let's go over here. It says tolls are common, but you need saving. So we're going to talk about tolls, and basically some people were like, yo, these people are BANs, and you know, I think they are, sure. But we also have to recognize, again, we're just in this comfortable bubble.
The cost now.
Corruption. No, but
waiting generator cost 2019, no be waiting in the cost now.
Not corruption. No, but it's a special kind, and so based every year in Nigeria we spend $15 billion. No be naira.
He says we.
15 billion. Say that.
15 billion.
Thank you. $15 billion on diesel generators and the diesel to fuel them. Of that 15 billion, 12 billion is the fuel. Every year.
Wow.
From that 12 billion,
yeah,
there's an estimate that about 4 billion is invisible money. So someone will say
money.
Some will say they delivered 1,000 liters.
Snake chop the rest.
But they only delivered 700.
Yeah.
And then everybody who inside go chop the 300. The money. The other.
They'll go tell us a rat chopper.
Or it evaporate or something. But $4 to $5 billion a year is stolen through that process. 4 billion that's stolen every year could add another 4,000 megawatts to the grid every year, which would double our capacity every year.
But some people not go agree.
No.
So we get wahala for our hand.
And we've been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And now we have the worst power sector in the world. Nobody wants the power sector to work. Because if you fix the power sector, nobody goes.
Then this money no go come
this
again.
money go just disappear.
And this is private sector, public sector, social sector.
But for how long?
Yeah, so y'all see that this is a white boy telling us, oh, well, this is the problem with Nigeria, you know, when the problem in Nigeria is this white boy, obviously, but you know, just these white folk. But let's just keep going. So what I'm gonna say is this: tolls are common, you know, in order to transport goods from one area to the next, you know, you usually don't let it slide without somebody paying you. And what I mean by this is this, right? It's imagine I own some land, right? I own some land, and some people are gonna cross my land to go to the land adjacent to me, or just the fact that they crossed in my land and they have a bunch of wares, right? I gotta look out for them while they're on my land, more or less. I claim, you know, but I do technically. Or even that, just the reality that they're crossing my land and that they, you know, they're messing up my paveway, they're messing up my whatever, they're messing up my grass, my patch of land, whatever it is. They're crossing through my land. I have to be considerate of them, right? So on and so forth. Realistically, and this is something that was just common in the earlier parts of, the earlier history, as well as Africa, but, even outside of Africa, right? You gotta pay. Now, this is the issue, though. We're talking about a government, right? Realistically, the government should be charging these tolls and not private citizens. But this is part of the reason why, I think I said, tolls are common, but you need savings. This is part of the reason why, this is part of what you can see from a weak government. Not just a weak government, but a government without a good economy going for it. Because when a good economy is going for it, the people working at the toll booths or what have you, right, are getting paid well enough that they're not exploiting and extorting the people. Okay? That they're not exploiting and extorting the people, but because they are not doing that, right? Because they're not necessarily have this good government, that's when you have the people, the individuals, the laborers in question, taking extra liberties with their authority, or with their position, or with their weaponry, and I think that's what, like I think that's just the other additional nuance that we just have to add on to it, because a lot of times we say, hey, Africa's corrupt and so on and so forth, and sure enough, there's a lot of corruption, but that corruption is directly related to the economy. So this is going to be, so the reason why I put this one up is because this is a white boy talking about the American government. Okay. So this has nothing to do with Africa, right? This is a white boy complaining about the American government. And what you're going to notice, right, is that this is our actual problem. Okay. A lot of us, what you need to do, there's a tweet I wrote. What you need to do is you either need to pursue political power or just cry every day. Because the reality is this. If you don't pursue political power, if you don't seek political power, if you don't develop political power, right, you're going to be politically powerless. And the reality is, and that other people are going to make money from the politics game. So this is going to be the white folk. This is the white person telling us how wealthy their government employees are.
Not going to shut up about this. I'm not, because I can't yell at the Republicans. They're not going to change. They are who they are. We're stuck with them. We're not going to change them. You can't shame them. You can't convince them. You can't trick them. You can't fucking outplan them. But I can yell at the Democratic Party. And I can tell them where they can at least make one fucking small change to stop pissing me the fuck off every hour right now. Stop sending me fundraising requests right now. Okay? The Republican Party had a plan for the last 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade. We had a leak 5 weeks ago telling us that this exact thing was going to happen. And your response after 5 weeks of careful study and planning and thought has been to send us nonstop fundraising emails. All right? So let me just read you a quick list. Mark Warner. He's the Democratic senator from Virginia. He's worth $214.1 million. Don Beyer, he's a Democratic Virginia House member. He's worth $124.9 million. Dean Phillips, he's a Minnesota House member. He is worth $123.8 million. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the fucking House of the Democratic Party from California, is worth $114.7 million. Dianne Feinstein, who doesn't know where the fuck she is right now, the senator from California, part of the Democratic Party, is worth $87.9 million. You guys want money? Fucking call your guy. You call him every week to do insider trading. Stop fucking sending me emails. Stop sending me fucking texts. Stop fucking reading poems and singing goddamn karaoke. You have power. You have it. You're in those seats. We're the ones who are powerless. Stop fucking pretending you're protesting. If you don't want to fucking do it or it's too hard, fucking retire. You're rich as shit. You don't need to do anything. If I had $114.7 million, Nancy Pelosi, you know what I'd do? First thing, I'd get my fucking husband a driver so he didn't get a goddamn DUI. Second thing, you know what I'd do? I'd be on a fucking boat. $114.7 million. And you want to send me a fucking email asking me for $15? Bitch, in the last 3 years, you sent us, what, 1.5 checks? Stop it. The Democratic Party has lost the thread completely. All leadership of the Democratic Party needs to be thrown out and replaced. And here's the thing, if you're over 65 or you're worth, I don't know, let's just do an arbitrary number here, $10.7 million, you're done. You're not in leadership. Because that is the poorest member of the top 50 Democratic members of the House.
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't care. You just want to stay in the seat. Fuck you.
Okay, so the reason why I showed you that, in fact, you guys might want to see this thing, but the reason why I showed you that is to show you that, like, so one of the things I wrote in the Book of Power, right, was basically, I think it was Martin Delaney discussing what happened when African people in America were really like, okay, this shit is too much. We got to leave. We got to dip, you know? So Africans in America, the greatest minds came together and said, what's the plan for Africans in America? And they said, look, either or both, we need to go to freaking Canada, okay? Which is like, you know, not the best idea, but still, they said either we go to Canada or we build a African-centered school. Like, no, not African, they didn't say African-centered, they said a black school, right? That's it. Those are the options. Either you educate yourself, so on and so forth. And then these white boys, these white liberals came through and said, no, you don't have to do that. We'll look out for you. Right? We'll look out for you. You don't have to do that. We'll look out for you. And the reason why I showed you that white liberal is because that white liberal sounds like 90% of black folk who complain about politics. Like 90% of political black folk who complain about politics in Africa. You understand? And I'm just obviously it's an exaggeration, a hyperbole. But the idea is that, at least the loud ones, right? But still, the idea is that you're complaining that, oh, the politicians are so rich and the politicians need to step down. The politicians, like they're like basically they're corrupt. Okay. The only difference is that he's living in a nice, luxurious, like he's not in a state of war right now. And that's really what happened. Like this is definitely the westernized African, right? Particularly the westernized African in the Western diaspora. But like this is what it really comes to, you know? The big difference obviously is how peaceful or peaceable it is in the West, you know, where we just have concerts and fairs and festivals and you know free commerce and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to getting held at gunpoint every 5 seconds, assuming we're not in the hood, you know. But like, yeah, that's so the reason why I wanted to put that in next to the other post was that, yeah, these politicians in America, 115 million, 200 million, and these are the Democrats. Okay. But at the same time, when you don't pursue political power, you end up just kind of whining on the outside, you know, complaining about $15 you can't afford, more or less. Or of course he could afford it, but still complaining about $15, or complaining about campaign donations, as opposed to really getting shit done. You know? And this is why I really want to stress to everybody, look, you have to seek political power. And if you feel like it has to be in America, then, you know, seek political power in America. But other than that, you know, go somewhere where you believe your political power can stretch. And so we're going to see what this is. This is the last one on this note. This is a Nigerian official.
Expenditure you make from 31st May till date are not excuse me, what is not
Shaking my head.
Are you aware that every...
Yeah, so basically this is like the corruption that we deal with. Now, again, it's easy to condemn it, obviously. It's something that is happening all over the freaking world, obviously. The difference is that over here, a lot of people are not living peaceful lives. And the money, essentially, it really comes up to peace. It really comes to peace. And so the question is that if you feel like you understand how to bring peace to Africa, right, or bring peace to African people, then seriously consider a political career. In fact, if I want to say this, I think when I used to do, I guess for my first book, the Pro-Black Compendium, or the second book, right, Pro-Black Compendium, I divided politics, economics, and culture. No, I tried to define politics, economics, and culture in the paradigm of peace, possessions, and consciousness, right? And so, realistically, politics, I pointed out, was just a means towards establishing peace for a people group, you know? And so, realistically, that's the big difference between why, this is what the white boy was doing before and what people are doing here, where it's nobody really cares that Nancy Pelosi has $114 million. Most people just assume, well, I guess she was a lawyer, or what have you, right? Nobody really cares, And the reason why they don't care is because their lives are at peace. Now, as things become a little bit less peaceful, sure, you begin to say, why the fuck is she so rich, right? I'm so broke. Why is she so rich? But before, while these politicians are securing peaceful lives for you, especially if you're white, right? While they're securing peaceful lives for you, then it's whatever. And it's the same with, a lot of quote unquote African Americans, in the sense that, those of us or those of them, I guess, right? Don't let them catch me saying us. Otherwise they'll be like, shut the fuck up, Tether. But anyway, but those who are living peaceful lives don't really complain too much about anything. And those who are living in lives that are not too peaceful, they are asking the Democrats to fix it. They're asking the political structure to fix it. And so if the political structure is stealing money or extorting money or exploiting money or taxing unfairly and what have you, then they complain on that basis. So it's really a matter of peace. And so for those of you who are familiar with the situation in Nigeria, the Fulani, the Muslims, this kind of hat sort of thing, they are straight up killing other groups of people very openly, and that along with the massive inflation and the economic, I think it's 50% unemployment rate, that's what really gets people outraged. So again, if you can find a way to bring peace into Africa, do not you have to be serious about a political career. Otherwise, you're just gonna whine and rant and complain, and it's not gonna do anything. Mr. Untouchable says brand new mic. Brother, I put this mic yesterday. Mr. Untouchable, he was on Shoot the Breeze yesterday. It was a good episode. He also provides a lot of the thing. Tanzan says, greetings, Tanzan, pro-black perspective. Tanzan is, for those of you who don't know, Tanzan is what's his name? Tanzan is, who was this person? Well, all right, I'll have to come back to it. But there's this singer, entertainer, who's having a lot of kids right now, and Tanzan is his lawyer, Tanzan says, peace everyone, Mr. Untouchable, Koku, KD97, The Learning Curve. Brother Bakari says, what's up, Brother Bakari? So make sure y'all check out everybody's podcast while you're here. Mr. Untouchable says, more than tan, and what's up, everybody? So Tanzan is on Swahili Nation on Tuesdays. Brother Bakari got his own show. Obviously, I'm a Bookman has her own show. And of course, Bit of Medicine and Learning Curve. I think Katie would on. Yeah, I think everybody has. Everybody, check out everybody. Let's follow everybody that you can. It's just good to connect and get us all together and so on and so forth. So we're going to the next one. This is a homeless man, and you see, I'm kind of leaving America alone. Because I realized what do you complain about America? It's not like we're even going to get why are we even going to get are we going to get political power here? Seriously, So this is a little bit of more of America. This is 2 people have been charged with conspiring to bring a child to the UK in order to harvest his organs. You don't have to click on the link. Somebody's going to give you the backdrop, and we're going to try to go over this one quickly, only because, you know, like we don't have all day to be here. This ain't Shoot the Breeze. I'm joking. All right, so look, Ike and Beatrice Ekweremadu both appear at Uxbridge Magistrate Court on charges relating to the conspiracy of human trafficking for organ harvesting. So look, so then Terry clarifies. He says the kidney didn't match with that of Ekweremadu's daughter, so they intend to bring the boy back to Nigeria. The boy then reported to the local authorities to seek asylum. So basically, here's how it goes. You know, they found some homeless kid, and they said, "Hey, look, my daughter needs an organ. My daughter needs a kidney, right? You have two, and so I would want a kidney from you, right?" And so they're like, "Okay, sure." He's like, "Well, I don't know. Is the doctor?" I mean, I'm making this up right now, but he's like, "Well, are the doctors good over here?" He's like, "Look, we'll bring you to the UK. We'll bring you to the finest doctors, and they could take your kidney out, you know, and we'll pay you or what have you, right?" The boy says, "Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a plan, right?" They go over to UK, and then they find out that the kidneys don't match, right? So they're like, "Okay, we'll send this boy back to Nigeria." And the boy's like, "Hold on a second," and he runs to the police to tell them, you know. So this is like that. What I just told you sounds like a realistic thing regarding, you know, just the human experience. And here's the thing though, like Ike and Beatrice, I think the last one told you how old they were. They're like in their 50s or whatever, and they have a young girl who needs 55 and 60, and they have a young girl who needs a kidney. And the thing is, it's not completely, like, it's not the same as stealing people's organs. You know? I'm still going to put them in the BAN category, but it's not the same as stealing people's organs for money. It seems like they had a daughter who needs these organs, and they found a volunteer who said, "Hold on a second, I got to go back to Nigeria. You promised me money." You know what I mean? So I read something, but the Nigerian media don't investigate before reporting news. The guy was claimed 21, but didn't want to return to Nigeria, and that's why he claimed he was 15. So they said, no, their daughter needs a kidney. So the 15-year-old boy was taken into the donor with an illegal passport stating that the boy was 21 years old. The boy is 15. So that's what it is. So essentially, there's a 21-15 discrepancy. Now, here's the issue, and this is actually pretty interesting because I put this in my headline, right? And somebody actually retweeted me talking about it's so irresponsible to bring up a story when the details are not even are not fully out. Now, bear in mind, this is actually an old story by now. It's June 23rd, right? Before June 23rd, in fact. This is like, mid-June. This is something I should have done on last week's podcast, right? So we're gonna actually check out. We're gonna see if I have it. This is my page, by the way. If you guys follow me, I'm gonna update this picture. It's not the best picture. Let's see if so somebody was just like, "Hey, you're so irresponsible to bring up this story," and it's like, yeah, the reason why you. And I told him, look, that's the reason why I put up the story is because that's the whole point. That's the point. You should. Oh yeah, by the way, this is my this is my animation. Nobody likes it. Nobody liked it. But anyway, we're gonna see that animation soon. I'm about to do the ABA transition. I want to just rush to that. So anyway, the guy says the Nigerian Senator is still a developing story. It's careless to use a sensational headline with incomplete and constantly changing narratives. And the thing is this. First off, this is 2 weeks old. This story should have been investigated by now, is one thing. Two, you're supposed to be talking about current events, and you're supposed to discuss this stuff. And then three, like I said, that's the entire point is to make a sensational headline so that people could tune in. It's not like I was going to, like you guys heard me. I'm not really saying that the dude was stealing organs. I just said it. But anyway, by the way, I got to show y'all this animation. This is my animation. Anything, but look at this. I don't produce anything, but I'm still richer than you. You don't produce anything? Nothing. So how do you fight wars? With sticks. I don't produce. Yeah. Anyway, no, nobody liked that one. But like, I decided to myself, you know what? If I could make 3D models and I could do a voiceover, why the fuck not? All right. Sorry, that was a little more clarification on this thing. We read online that the boy was 15 doesn't mean it's true. There's another report which states that he reported to the authorities because he didn't want to come back to Nigeria when his kidney didn't match their daughter's own. Let's have the full investigation before condemning. Horizon Channel had it that the doctor couldn't continue with the harvest because the boy was a minor. It's not in online news. It was all over the local news channel and even BBC. So apparently, they were like, hey, look, 15-year-old can't consent to giving his thing. And that's the thing that, like I said, like with the West, it's like you have these sort of laws in place that are, for better or worse, they work out for, like, sometimes they do work out for the kids, Like, I could say this, like a part of some people would be like, hey, why don't you go to Africa why don't you go to Africa right now, right? And it's like, part of the reason why I don't is because you can't leave with your child. You can't travel across, like, you can't get a visa in a lot of countries without the express permission of the other parent, And this kind of helps with human trafficking, And so just the same, though, they brought this 15-year-old and they gave him a bunch of fake stuff to make him seem like he's 21. And then not only did the kidney not match, but on top of that, the doctor wouldn't, like a doctor, if it's not a corrupt doctor per se, right? They just wouldn't do the operation at risk of losing their license because you can't just operate on a minor. And that's like a lot of things, like I said, there's a, the political structure exists to facilitate peace. And that's why because a lot of us feel like, hey, our situation can be more peaceful, right? If you feel like that is the case, right? Especially if you say, hey, look, if I had more money, if I had more resources, because the government is money and resources, right? If I had more money and more resources, I could help facilitate peace. If that's what you believe, then go into politics, okay? Obviously, I would recommend going to politics in Africa. But if nothing else, if you really think, hey, look, this could be, because the thing is that we are existing, like the Westerners set up something peaceful for them, very peaceful for them. And a part of us, and partly a lot of us in the West are kind of existing off of that peace, And I mean, we do, like, and we foolishly take credit, and we're going to talk about that later in the ABA section, I think, right? Or the Nevolutionary, or the Pan-Africanists, whatever. But we foolishly take credit for their peacefulness, their peaceful societies, but realistically, like we didn't really write. I mean, I don't know if we wrote this law against organ harvesting, and the thing is that, again, these are Nigerian senators, so these are Nigerian lawmakers. You understand? Lawmakers, and they're like, yeah, we could traffic this, like we could take out a minor's organs as long as they consent. These are lawmakers in Nigeria. And they're going up against the law in the UK. And the UK is like, no, you can't get a minor's thing. So that's actually a really interesting juxtaposition. And it kind of tells us, and I've said it a lot, but it kind of tells us, hey, look, get serious about your politics. Because, again, it's not like this is just random-ass Nigerian people. These are straight-up lawmakers. So the next one is 2 people have been charged with conspiring to bring a child to the UK in order to harvest organs, the Metropolitan Police said. So he says, wife of Senator Ike Ekweremadu says, I've always been saying this, there's no such thing as blood money. Most of the killing reported as ritual killings are mostly organ harvesting. Top politicians in Nigeria are in the business with the help of the police, etc. Lagos BRT. Obedience is better than sacrifice, so on and so forth. And let's go to I think this might be the last one. Let's see. No, there's 2 more. Okay, hold on a second. Let's just do 2 more. Oh, yeah, because I think Ann Coulter is going to say something, so that's going to be pretty interesting. For those of you who don't know who Ann Coulter is, she's like, right now she's at like ADOS's favorite white woman.
It's believed that some more information wrote us. It's believed that when the couple were arrested, this was just on Tuesday, the 21st of June, they were arrested at Heathrow Airport on their way to Istanbul, Turkey. And it's believed that they were traveling to Turkey in order to procure another organ because they were unable to harvest the organ of this now child who forms the backbone of the case that we're hearing. And when Mr. Ekweremadu was arrested, it's believed that there was $20,000 he had in his possession, which has also been seized by the court. Going back to the alleged child and the alleged victim of this case, it's believed that when he truthfully disclosed his age to the doctor at the Royal Free Hospital, that doctor obviously cancelled the procedure and he was taken back into the custody of the family who it's believed treated him, according to the prosecution, like a slave, made him sleep on the sofa until he escaped from that home, slept rough for 2 days, and then found his way into a police station. And that's when the police investigation started. And it's from that police investigation which led to the arrest of the Ekweremadus at Heathrow Airport on Tuesday. And today was their first public hearing, in which we now know has resulted in them being denied bail and they're being kept in custody until the next court date, which is the 7th of July, Rotus.
Yeah, so again, it's really a complicated story. And the reason why I say it's complicated, I want you to realize, I want you to recognize, I want you to sit back and say to yourself, well, look here. What if your loved one needed an organ and you had money? You understand? And so it's complicated by that. You know? They want an organ for their child because here's the thing. Here's the reality. Here's the reality. Their child does not get an organ. Their child dies. Okay. If you lose your kidney, if you lose your kidney per se, right? You have two. You know what I mean? Like you don't die from not having two kidneys. I mean, from having one kidney. What happens is if both of your kidneys fail and you need one more, you will die. And so when you, because as a parent, right, when you love your child, you do want to do what you can for them. And so this story gets a little complicated in the sense that, hey, somebody seemingly volunteers to give their organ for these people. And then their organ does not match. Either it doesn't match or there will not be a procedure on that, right? Like they can't secure a procedure for them. So they say, okay, we're going to travel to another country, Istanbul, and try to get a kid or get a matching kidney there. And then they're arrested based off of the fact that realistically, you know, the question is how well do you treat somebody in your home who is no longer useful to you, right? Because like, you know, yeah, it's a complicated story. It's still BAN, but you know, a lot, like it's not the same as organ trafficking per se. It's still BAN obviously, but here's what Ann Coulter had to say. And Ann Coulter's just a white woman. Oh yeah, she just says our new country. Oh yeah, this is big. All right, so Nigerian Senator, so Breitbart. So y'all don't know who Breitbart is. Breitbart's like a hub for white supremacy, boo hoo hoo, boo rah rah. Looks like 1.6 million followers. Let's see what Ann Coulter is. 2 million followers. So yeah, you know, as much as we might think Tariq and them, so on and so forth, Ann Coulter is big. So Breitbart says Nigerian Senator, blah, 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 were arrested in London and charged with planning to bring a 15-year-old boy into the United Kingdom so they could harvest his organs. So again, you know, sensational title, good stuff. But here's what Ann Coulter said. She says, our new country's gonna be great. Paying attention? So Ann Coulter's in America. She has nothing to do with Nigeria. She has nothing to do with UK. Okay? She says, our new country is going to be great. And so this is obviously the rabbi story, the New Jersey corruption thing. So this is real organ trafficking, right? Dozens of New Jersey politicians, officials, and prominent rabbis were arrested on Thursday in a sweeping federal probe that uncovered. This is real organ trafficking. This story is more like, how do you save your daughter? What kind of extent, how far would you go to save your daughter's life? Because if you do not go far enough, you will lose your daughter. And like a lot of parents are not really cool with losing their kids, especially after they understand that there are medical procedures that can save their kids. But you know, it's like they might they just probably like wave their money around, you know, because a lot of people don't really want to just wait in a queue for an organ donation, you know. a lot of people probably want to expedite that to get their child in better health and all that kind of stuff. And, you can't really fault people for wanting to save somebody's life. This is kind of not necessarily I want to save individuals' lives as much as, hey, I can take people's organs. I can make money. This is a different story. But you see what Ann Coulter's saying. She's saying our new country is going to be great. And so what this is basically saying is that, they essentially they want to do Civil War #2 in America, and they intend for the Confederacy to win. And the reality is this, that it's kind of looking like the Confederacy would. In the rematch, it looks like the Confederacy would. But anyway, and that's a really bad thing for Black Americans in particular, because because the reason why I say it's a bad thing for Black Americans in particular is because these Nigerians aren't like these Nigerians and this UK. This is a Nigeria UK situation, and this white woman is using that to say we got to change America. So it has nothing to do with African Americans per se, right? It has nothing to do with America at all. But this is I forgot the word for it, but this is a symbol to white America that we're gonna get rid of Black America. Just a FYI for those of you. I mean, I like to just report some stuff. Let's see what the comments are. Let's see. So, Brother Bakari, Tanzan says, greetings, Brother Bakari. Brother Bakari says, learning curve, everybody, what's up? Bit of medicine, what's up, everybody? Brother Bakari says, peace to me, which is nice. Yeah, this ain't shoot the breeze. Yeah, bit of medicine. Alma Boatman says, people are being sensitive. There's a huge organ harvesting problem in Nigeria. A lot of what they call ritual sacrifices are just organ harvesting schemes. Yeah, definitely. Kofi says, wild stuff. Bobby E. Wright says, peace to pro-Black perspective. So everybody, peace, fam. Yeah, I think there's a lot of organ harvesting. I think that that's the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing is that when your economy is shit, or not even when your economy is shit, because I showed you guys right here, this story, this is not economy. This is how you make good money. We were talking about this in the Shoot the Breeze yesterday because there was a post on how are Jews so rich, and a lot of things that they do is just a lot of underhanded, shady shit. Because if you're the only people going on the quote unquote black market, you can make quite a bit of money on the black market. It's like the drug dealers. If you're the only people selling drugs, you could make quite a bit of money selling drugs. If you're the only people selling organs, you can make quite a bit of money selling organs. And in fact, I think when I'm reading this Wealth of Nations book, he's talking about, when the government makes something illegal, it drives up the price. It makes it more you could sell it for more because you have to go through extra security to secure it. And and this could be anything. It could be, well, if purchasing gold from Spain is illegal, right? Then gold prices go up wherever this law is in place. Because to smuggle the gold, smuggling adds an extra cost because there's an extra risk. And so, human trafficking and organ harvesting, organ trafficking, that's big business. And inside of Africa, where there's a lot of people and a lot of desperation, you're going to do organ trafficking. You're going to do child stealing. You're going to do all sorts of vicious shit, particularly in poorer areas. And not just poorer areas, but just generally speaking, or particularly two poorer areas. Where people are not necessarily protected by the legal system, or the legal system cannot necessarily cast that wide web that you would want of a legal system. So organ harvesting, everything is big. Everything that's profitable is being done everywhere on the planet. You get what I'm saying? Everything that is profitable is being done everywhere on the planet. And it's going to be mostly concentrated on the people whom are not protected by the legal system. This is why I keep telling y'all, you want to pursue a political career, because if you do not pursue a political career, the reality is that you cannot secure this peace. You're going to sit down in the top seat and you're going to realize that people want to sell other people's organs. You're going to realize that people want to sell drugs. You're going to realize that people want to smuggle goods from foreign lands, and you're going to realize that it's your responsibility to stop it. And then you cannot be everywhere at once. And you cannot ensure everybody is on the same page at once. You can't sit down in Lagos. I don't know Nigerian cities. I can't hold you. But you can't sit down. Like, so I know a little bit of Jamaica. All right. Oh, actually, let me say I know a little of America. Right. You can't sit down in Washington D.C. Right. And make sure that nothing is coming from Denmark into New York City that you don't want while you're sitting up in Washington D.C. because you're already trying to make sure nothing comes from Denmark into New York City. You understand? Or from Sweden into New York City. You know, it's the same with Jamaica. You could watch Kingston, but then you can't watch Clarendon. You understand? You can't be everywhere at once, and that's the limitation of government, right? But at the same time, it's like you have to make an attempt. You have to try. You have to try to fix stuff. You have to. And as you build up an economy, you know, from your political machinations, whatever, when you build up an economy, that's when things can improve. But yeah, everything that you can imagine that's terrible on this planet is happening everywhere all the damn time. I would even say this. So one time, like I said, I used to be in the socialist organization, right? And some lady just stood up and told us about some child trafficking ring in New York City that she told us the address where you can go at night and you can see a bunch of children walking hand in hand from car to car. Okay? And everybody in the community knows about this. Child trafficking ring active in New York City. And the thing I've heard from child trafficking, you know, people who were formerly child trafficked or whatever, right? They would say a lot of the people who are paying $200 an hour for sex or $300 an hour for sex are rich people or politicians. And this is America. So yeah, this is going to be happening. When I went down to Jamaica, some brother drove me and he drove me through this street, and it was just prostitutes lined up, just young black women standing there waiting for a car to stop and then take them somewhere to have sex. Okay? And I mean, he said, you know, the driver was like, yeah, you know, if you want, you know, you can come back here and, you could pay for a woman's time. You know, I didn't. But like, and then the thing is that I don't know if I put it into this video, if I might have talked about it last week, but yeah, this is happening in Atlanta right now. Everything you can imagine, everything you could think of, child trafficking, kidnapping, this, so on and so forth. If somebody can make a profit, it's probably happening around you, especially if the legal system is not going to prosecute them. And that's why I was saying about this yesterday in the Shoot the Breeze, is that what America has is it has this black underclass that is not legally protected. So people like this are going to especially pursue these black youth who are not legally protected. And I'll leave it at that. So what's this? If your safety depended on Whitey liking you. So I will probably just more or less skip over this. We're just going to read it. This is just another BAN. Just another BAN. No disrespect to this lady. Miss Olurin. She says, oh, yeah. Actually, no, this is not too much to skip. So this is, like I was saying about, this is our new country. So our new country is going to be great. So President Trump, I want to thank you for this historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday. President Trump.
Okay, so this says, and there you have it, people. They're not just saying the quiet part out loud. They're saying it from podiums to thousands of others like them. We're in danger. And all I said was, just to make this lady the BAN. And realistically, I just wanted to show this video. But yeah, if your safety depended on Whitey liking you, you know what I'm saying? That was your mistake already. Because white people are not going to like you. This is their country. This is their country. Let's see what this comments are saying. SK Alkebulon says, and by the way, peace, SK Alkebulon. I don't know if I see you before on the podcast, but appreciate you being here. Self-exploitation on steroids, underworld crime. Yup. Mr. Untouchable says, supply and demand, baby. You already know it. Bobby E. Wright says, there's a book called Organ Thieves by Chip Jones. Yeah. I thought I just said Bobby E. Wright said that. But I say Bobby E. Wright. Yeah, there's a book called Organ Thieves by Chip Jones. Yeah, stealing organs makes sense. Mr. Tubble says, that's not right. We got to draw the line somewhere. Child trafficking, no bueno. Now, I'm not saying I would child traffic. Mr. Untouchable says, so, Oni, how many car stops did you make in Jamaica? I mean, I plead the fifth, you know. That's the good thing about being in America. You could plead the Fifth Amendment, and that means you don't have to incriminate yourself. They got to catch you. You know what I'm saying? They got to catch you. That's one thing I like about America. All right. Nah, I'm just messing. I don't like nothing about. No, I'm joking. All right. That's it. Yeah, that's we can go over that. You guys get how this is a BAN. Just black folk, you know. Oh my gosh, so forth. Oh my gosh, these white people don't like us. Shut the fuck up. Of course they don't. And so this is the last one. This is actually a little interesting. It says, look, if y'all really coded, if it wasn't really coded, you know, this pigeon stuff, but y'all decoded anyway. It's actually pretty interesting because when I look at this thread, I realize that the Nigerian pigeon sounds kind of like Creole a little bit. I mean, I don't understand it per se, but anyway, look at this. So it says, "Wete na de yarn," right? And it's like, what is he talking about, right? So this is Google Translate. So it says, the way I'm about to submit misleading feedback to throw off the algorithm. So basically, Creole is being translated into English by Google Translate. So it's like, this is a BAN for us in the sense that what we did was like this white boy is like, can you help us translate your language? And a lot of us were like, yeah, sure, here you go. You know, now obviously it wasn't really rocket science, the language, but you know, notwithstanding, you know, I beg them mib small picking, right? So please, they are small children. So I want to say with this is that in Patois, picking, they say pickney instead of picking. So I think picnic, and I think maybe picnic has its origins in Africa, but you know, again, like that's why I also say like this I guess Creole or Patois and all that kind of stuff. They're just English, but they do have some possibly non-English words, but they're still just like I beg. I look at this as I beg, honestly. It could translate to please, but I just kind of look at it like I beg. And then Google Translate needs to remove Creole immediately. We can't have non-Creole speakers understand what we are saying sometimes. So Creole can translate Guinea, Coast Pidgin, and also Yardi Patois. So I don't know if Yardi Patois is Jamaican Patois, but it like that's kind of like what people in Jamaica would call it too. So anyway, let's see. No, they can't be serious. Minago dong dese. Minago dong dese, right? I'm not going down there. So this would also, just a parallel, this would also be like Jamaican Patois. Like Mina Godessa, you know? No, we would probably say Mina Godessa, you know? But yeah, so they probably wouldn't say go dong. Oh, I see the down. That's probably the down. Mina, yeah, so we would probably say Mina go there, you know, Mina Godessa. Yeah. And I guess we probably would say, actually, this kind of just looks like Patois. I'm not going to hold you. Like, I can't even see the difference. Only thing I don't know if they say dung. I mean, they do say dung in Jamaica. So I can't even, like, this just looks like Patois. I'm not even going to hold y'all. No, but this is serious, right? So this is just a joke. So I'm just going to put a whole BAN on, like, just a whole bunch of us working hard to make sure that these white boys can translate us. But, of course, there's good application to being able to translate any language to any other language. Like there's a good application there. And you know, there's the reality that, you know, unfortunately, for what it's worth, you know, we are becoming a globalized people, you know? So it's not like the end of the world. Like shout out to, I got this sister who's actually, you know, this is really, 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 really helpful and useful sister who's, like has like its AI kind of network and what they're working on. They actually do want more African languages to be translated into, like, to be consumed by the Google Translate thing. So shout out to her. Actually, her name is Esamare, right? Esamare. She's a famous person. I mean, she's a pretty cool person. So make sure you guys check out her and like AI, her artificial intelligence advocacy. because I actually saw like a presentation they had, and it was like related to, yeah, we need to get our languages in these kind of algorithms because we can't continually be left out of this global translation thing. Because again, you could like translate whole books into Creole now, you know, and just make everything you're doing that much more accessible to other people, you know? And in fact, I remember, so I'll say this, there's this, Nyerere, Julius Nyerere, you know, president of Tanzania, first president of Tanzania, right? He writes the Arusha Declaration, and he writes it in Swahili, okay? So I could go to that page where it's at and click on the top and translate into English. It's not going to be a perfect translation, but the reality is that it's going to be a lot easier for me to read it now than if I were to have to commit myself to learning Swahili. And you might say, well, why don't you just commit yourself to learning Swahili? Sure, but then what if I want to read the original Haitian constitution, Dessalines' original constitution? I had to do that for the Book of Power. I had to, like Dessalines has a lot of great speeches, but they're more or less in French. Actually, no, I had to get an English translator, like English translation. And so a lot of the English translations are not by native English speakers, or they're by white folk who just were not going to give you the flowery language. So for the Book of Power, I had to look at multiple different English translations and then create that flowery language for it, you know? So I had to like do my own translation, but it's even, well, not translation, but more like editing of translations. And that's like another thing. So like realistically, you do want to be a part of this translation thing, but it would be better if you were doing it yourself, but you're not. So, you know, this is the next best thing, you know, unfortunately. Anyway, let's see what this is. EL is laughing at something. Mr. Untouchable says, don't these people understand English is a creolized version of Spanish, French, German, and Latin? Yeah, I mean, all these languages are like have their, like are derivative of older languages. You know, that's how language is, you know, and language is a derivative of older language. I think they only say that, you know, it's a matter of how much the difference becomes. After a while, you can say that they're different languages. But also, I don't even think that, but like, I think those rules only applied, like, I think this is like, I think, so what I would say is this. So science is not science is not exact, you know, or no, science is like, this is going to be a little bit more of a theoretical thing, but here's how I look at it. I look at it like this. English is the language that the English put together. You understand? That the English said, okay, this is going to be the official language that we speak. And that's why it's a different language. You understand? So it's not really off the basis of being different from German and different from French and so on and so forth. It's really off the basis of this is what we're going to speak when we're here. It's just like in America, you know, the spelling of American English is because of this guy named Webster. He was like, we're just going to spell things differently. Shut the fuck up. We don't give a shit. You know, we're not going to spell, I can't remember what they do. I think, like, you know, sometimes you read somebody's writing and you're like, oh, they're probably British because they write differently from the Americans. Like, it's really not a matter of, oh, this language is so different, as much as this is a nation. And the nation said this is a different language. You know? And that's what it comes down to. Because all these languages, of course, derivative of one another, but they said, hey, look, this is our language. So it's not like it's English is a different language from German, as much as England said, this is how we're going to fucking speak. Like, this is our language. This is the new language group. So it's not like a scientific thing, you know, with a scientific background. It's realistically, England has a language and Spain has a language. And then it's like Nigeria has a language. But see, the difference is that Nigeria doesn't have a language. Like as to say Nigerian, you know, it has like Fulani, it has, you know, Igbo, it has so on and so forth, but it's not Nigerian, you know? And so again, you know, you could go back and say, you know, Igbo and Nigerian are creolized versions of Proto-Bantu or something. You could say that, but that's useless. Instead, what you would say is, this is the language of the Yoruba people, and this is the language of the Igbo people, and this is the language of the English people. You know, and not even like Anglo or whatever. This is the language of the English people, and that's how I would look at that thing. You know, and like realistically, just what we have to do as a people is just form a group and then go for it. But now we got, without further ado, the freaking ABA transition. Listen to this shit, man. Woo! Listen to this. All right, y'all tune in. Y'all sit up. Y'all get ready. Y'all ready? ABA transition. All right, let's go. I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Wait, no, don't call me an African. What? I'm a Moor. I'm an American Indian. I'm an Indian. Shit, you call me slave. You don't call me no damn African. No, I'm anything but an African. Oh my gosh, that's so stupid. All right, whatever. All right, so that's my ABA transition. I'll tell you, man. Yeah, so I realized that like the first, like I decided to do it 3 times, but I couldn't do that stupid voice I did the other time. You know, like the guy, oh no, I'm African. I couldn't do it again on the other recordings, although that recording was obviously messed up. But yeah, that's my transition for the, like, yeah, I kind of want to play it again, but let me not. What y'all think about that transition, man? That's my transition. All right, let me see. Trigger Happy says, you could argue pidgin in the cross-national language of Nigeria, to be honest. Yeah, you could. Kofi says, LOL. No, but that's to say, I think the thing is that you have to make it formal. Like, you have to formally say, this is Nigerian, you know? Because once you say it's pidgin, then you can't argue that it's not a pidgin, you know? Because a pidgin is a word that basically means derivative of another language, you know? Whereas if you just said, this is Nigerian, you write down the rules, you write down the codes, then it's Nigerian, you know? It's not Yoruba, it's not Igbo, but it's Nigerian. But I mean, obviously it would still be derivative. It would be like how English is to German, it would be derivative of English or whatever, but whatever. So anyway, Kofi says LOL, Mr. Untouchable says LOL, Trigger Happy is laughing, Mr. Untouchable gives a random compliment. You got a nice voice, man. I was doing the beatbox there. You know what's cute is that my son, I have a video, I kept playing that because I kept, seeing if I could make the audio right. And then my son decided to try to beatbox and do the same song, so it was kind of cute. Don't call me no damn African. I was mad I played that so much though because my son, I don't want my son to hear me say, don't call me no damn African. Anyway, let's see what this is. Tanzan is giving me the compliment. I can't remember. Tanzan, who's your client for your law practice? I can't remember. What's his name again? But yeah, Tanzan is a good transition, and she laughing too. Yeah, that's all. I think it's my favorite transition so far. All right, so this is Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh shit, what was the comment for this? I think I said nearly fooler types. So this is Jesse Lee Peterson praises white supremacy, saying that black people realize that white men are smarter than them, superior to them, and instead of learning, hey, how did you become so superior, they want to destroy it so they could be reminded how dumb they are. So look at this white boy kind of smirking.
I used to think that when they used that word, white supremacy, it was a negative word. But now I realize what they're thinking is that, and it's true, by the way, that white men are smarter than them, superior to them. And instead of learning, oh, hey, how did you become so superior? They want to destroy it so that they won't be reminded how dumb they are. And so they're dumbing everybody and everything down rather than coming up to the level of white supremacy.
Yeah, so like, yeah. Woo! Anything but Africans, you understand? Like, what is this? I mean, I'm probably just gonna put that in BAN, not gonna hold you, but yeah, we're just gonna go over that one. That's That's Jesse Lee Peterson. That's like part of me is like kind of like, is this just a person in blackface? Like what? Random, but all right. You know, I mean that's another way to make money. You know, that's another way to make money. So we're gonna go to this one. This is a bigger story, I guess. Where it goes, I told y'all religion is ABA. So this is a church in Africa. He says this is the biggest church in the world. The former president of Cote d'Ivoire, you know, this is the Ivory Coast, we call it, spent over $300 million building it in his village. So he goes to his village and he builds the biggest church in the world. Now, you might be like, okay, who cares? You know, you want to build a church? That's fine. You got money, $30 million, build a church. That's fine. Look at this next part. After he was done, he dedicated it as a gift to the Vatican. So the Pope visited to commission it, and the Vatican flag flies there till this day. Okay, so that's not the part I wanted to highlight. This is the part, I guess, right? He says, I visited there once. No, it's one of these. Yeah, this is right here. So I visited there once. The tour guide will probably tell you that once you enter the complex, you are in the Vatican, that the Vatican law governs there. So check this out. I heard that the revenues generated there also goes to the Vatican. I mean, their president gifted it to them. Okay, so just to that's the most important part. So he says, whatever money is generated by the tourism to the biggest church in the world doesn't even go to the people in the Ivory Coast. So they spend the money, they built it, and they gave it away, and now that it's a revenue generator, right? It generates revenue. That revenue is generated for the Vatican. That's how stupid this other stuff is. You know, this is another ABA. I'm telling you, religion is an ABA, right? And this church is in a typical village, like a very big village. There's no economic activity or anything meaningful going on there. Just this very expensive, wasteful masterpiece, and then one building for peace or so. Can't remember. The rest is just loud poverty, nothing else. The funniest thing that not even the main Catholic church in the village, people attend another Catholic church. It has just been filled once since its existence. Aside that, it is mostly empty except for a few tourists who visit once in a while. Can you imagine that? So they get this expensive thing. Now here, check this out. So this is not even African architecture, right? So they probably got non-African architecturals. Now, I don't know. It could be African architecturalists. It doesn't even, architects. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if they did. The reality is that they build this thing in Africa. Now, I don't know. I mean, some people are saying, now looking at this guy's profile, it seems like maybe this is a parody or something. I don't know. But other people are saying, hey, St. Basilica is the biggest church, and they're like, Basilica, blah, blah, blah. So this is the article. Well, again, he's the one who's doing it, but yeah, so like you guys look it up yourselves, I guess. Other people are saying it's not, so on and so forth. The Basilica of Our Lady of whatever. I don't know. But the point being that if this is the true story, I probably should just look it up, honestly. But yeah, let me look it up. Nah, fuck it, I don't really care. But it is a true story, right? Yeah, this is the kind of wasteful spending that a lot of African people on the continent are going through. But anyway, here we go. Let's just go to the next one. I think it's a true story. I'm not gonna, but like in retrospect, I don't even know or care that much. Let's see what the comments are saying. Nick Cannon, there you go. Tanzan is Nick Cannon's lawyer. I'll tell you, we were having the conversation, and Tanzan's like, you know, I think we were talking about huts, you know, because this brother was making a good point. You guys go check out Swahili Nation, especially last week, Tuesday. They were talking about, polygamy and like modern marriages and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty interesting. But this one brother came on talking about hut life. You know, he was like, yo, we really need to go back to a social arrangement where people aren't even married per se. Like everybody just has an open marriage and we just have huts and you don't have to live with other people. You know, you don't have to live with other people, and you can just, like if you want to have sex, you go visit somebody and you have sex, you know, like man or woman, nobody cares, right? Now, obviously, it's a cesspool for diseases if you have any diseases, but if you don't have diseases, who gives a shit, right? I mean, obviously, you're going to be left out if you don't know how to swing that thing, but whatever, right? Because anybody gonna come to get done. But like, just everybody living independently instead of living with each other, because living with each other might be bad. Whatever. So then, the question arose from one of the other sisters in the panel was like, well, what would happen? Like, who's gonna pay for like the internet and like all the other stuff? And it's like, well, the men are gonna pay, right? And the men that you are committed to or had relationships with, you can pay for, whatever. And so then the woman says, well, and so one of the women said, well, what if you don't want to sleep with the guy anymore? Like, will you still receive these benefits? Like, will you still receive pay or something like that, right? But Tanzania was making a good case for, well, if I pay at all, then I need to open it. Like, then you need to open your legs, and I need to get more, right? Like, because otherwise, why am I paying? I mean, if I'm paying, then we laying, right? And then it dawned on me, like, yeah, this sounds like Nick Cannon's lawyer, and sure enough, that's who. That's what Tanzania. No, just yeah, whatever. You guys, it's a whatever. All right. Bobby Wright says sounds like Pygmy Markham. I don't know what that is. What's Pygmy Markham? Oh, is that a person? Leonard Curtis says ninjas build churches to pray for jobs. That's the truth. Tanzan says wow, sad, and pathetic. SK Kebilan says fertility venerated, and Kofi says he hopes it's fake. I have no idea if it's fake or not, but whatever. Tanzan says that's Tezzy. He lives today in a couple of hours. Oh, he's live today in a couple of hours. So make sure you guys check out Swahili Nation. Swahili Nation's a big channel of, it seems like people in Africa just spreading the word, spreading the, like, just having intellectual conversations and, being active on the continent. And they're also like going to open up an office in Africa. They're doing a fundraiser and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to their channel. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, and Hut Life sounds like a good go. All right, so let's see. Here we go. What's here we go? Here we go. What's this? Here we go. We're just going to try to rush through the unimportant stories. Like the churches, you already know it's a freaking thing. Oh, yeah, this shit. Okay. A black man created an app like Amazon that's full of nothing but thousands of hashtag black-owned businesses all on one app. And here we go. It's not just black-owned businesses. A lot of them are African. If you don't... Let's see. I freaking knew it. They are conveniently black when it's profitable. No thank. You can only back. I'm supporting our black Americans when they make an app specifically for that use. The fan base, then I'm not downloading it. And she says, Aisha daughter is so sad we created a division among ourselves and it ends with their benefits. So basically, there's a black like Amazon app, 2.4 thousand ratings. That's pretty good. It's a shopping app, so on and so forth for black businesses, and it includes just everybody black, more or less. And then these other people are like, they're not black owned, they're African. Yeah, just here you go, whatever. Anyway, this is it. I told y'all to stop feeding the beast. Don't even say they built or invited, but nah. Like that's the thing. So this is gonna be really critical. You can't even go, like, the moment you feed the beast, you're going a thing. So this is something that a white person said. White person put this up. Corporates need you to find a difference between these pictures and this picture and this picture, right? And then they do this. It's a meme. They're the same picture. So this is Uncle Ruckus. This is somebody from Quentin Tarantino movie. I didn't watch the movie, but Django. This is like the Uncle Ruckus of Django, right? And this is Clarence Thomas, Uncle Thomas, right? So the white lady's like, oh man, these motherfuckers are coon, right? And people are telling her, you can't do that joke. You can't do that joke. And it's like, shut up. Who cares? Like, obviously she's pissed. Everybody's, not everybody, but like she's like, come on. Like, it's a joke. For anyone who doesn't understand, this isn't about a racial stereotype. Now, why people always do, this isn't about a racial stereotype, nobody cares. Like, nobody really cares. Cause it's like if y'all really watch Django. I didn't watch Django. But if y'all watch Django, where it's portraying this guy, then what the fuck are you complaining for? Like, it's the same liberal portraying Uncle Ruckus. Like what? like you can't be mad at liberals for doing that shit. But anyway, so this brother does say something a little bit extreme. Okay, he's from Nigeria, whatever. But he says something, and it's not too extreme because like you get what he's saying. But he's like, somebody should have lynched Clarence Thomas's ancestors. Now, I don't know why he would say Clarence Thomas's ancestors, like instead of just Clarence Thomas. But you know, there's a fake outrage around it because like everybody gets this. You know, like if you're in America, you know people who might have said this before to you. You know, it's not like whatever. So what's the response by quote unquote ADOS, right? This is the response. I'll show you guys. My transition though, it was funny. All right, long story short, this guy works at Pace University, the Nigerian in question, he works at Pace University. So this guy walks up to Pace University and yeah, so long story short, this guy works at Pace University. The guy walks up to Pace University and he demands to find out like where this guy's at. Shit, why am my internet acting stupid now? One of the reasons why you don't want to skip through videos is because of this. But basically, he goes to Pace University. And the weird part about this video is that he meets this Trinidadian lady at the reception. And he's talking to her. And then at the end, he goes, "Where's your accent from?" And she's like, "Trinidad." And he's like, "Oh, beautiful accent." And you're like, what the fuck? Like, like I don't know if he's like, you know, he's like a hater of immigrants, you know, hashtag deport everybody. And all that kind of stuff. So he's going to go, he rolls up on the guy's job, trying to get the guy fired for his comments online. And I mean, like, again, I'm not going to say that saying you should lynch Clarence Thomas's ancestors ain't that bad, but whatever. This is what you want to see. When is the mob protest happening? I want to see his tweet and picket sign for him. Whose Cash App I gotta fund? This guy's like, hit Marcel or Jason or Tariq's Cash App. Ask D. Tubman or Just Eve for the info. Yes, sir. You understand? Salute. White hand, you know? White handshake. I mean, obviously it's not necessarily white handshake. I mean, actually this is white handshake because I think the default is yellow. So I don't know. He probably put it into white handshake, which is kind of weird. Let's see. This might be one of those things. Yeah, just hit up Marcel, so on and so forth. And I said, look, y'all feed the beast. Another asked if he wants his info. Yeah. So I didn't get to catch this one, but like somebody was like, hey, if anybody wants the guy's info, the guy who made the comment, right, then hit him up. Basically, they collected the guy's info and now they're like literally trying to attack the guy at his place of business. So what happens is that he's a businessman, like he has his own independent business in America. And they're trying to shut that down. He works at Pace University, and they're attacking him there. So, like here, I think this is another one. So he says, shit, I just hop on the train and pull up. I could be there in a hot minute. Call, email, and pull up, not in that order. But make sure that if you can't do the most, the least you can do is the least. Okay. So pull up now, hashtag pull up now, Pace University. Onyekachi Nwayabasi. Must be fired for hate speech and racism against Black American freedmen who made it possible for his Nigerian family to immigrate to the U.S. Hashtag low life, hashtag scumbag. So I want y'all to realize the more you entertain this idea that Black Americans made it possible for people to immigrate to U.S., the more you're going to feed the beast. And I know you want to give Black Americans credit for it. Because again, even if quote unquote some Black Americans were involved, it wasn't every Black American. You know, it was at best a small percentage, and you could like see their names, like you could list their names, you could list their families, and then not just that, if obviously there were immigrants who helped other immigrants to come to America. But on top of that, you have to recognize that America is like the land of the immigrants, and it had open borders for a long time. Obviously, it had restrictions on African groups, but the people who changed the laws in America are obviously white people. So that's just another thing to bear in mind as well. Because, like, you know, you wouldn't go to the Chinese man and say, well, you know, Black Americans helped you, you know, Black Americans made it possible. Like, no, you wouldn't. And again, if you were to say, if some Black Americans were involved, it would be they were involved with petitioning John F. Kennedy or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Or you could just say who they were and in what organizations, you know? So if it's SNCC, you know, obviously SNCC had Kwame Ture, who was also a black immigrant. If it was the Harlem Renaissance, obviously the Harlem Renaissance had Jamaican and Caribbean, like a lot of Caribbean influence and so on and so forth. So it's not like you can't just say, oh, it's just all, and the thing is this, that a lot of black people were not involved in any of these political movements whatsoever. You know, like if you're talking about lineage, like there are certain people who were involved, and there are some people who were just, like, most people are just not involved. But I think that's like something that we really, like, you have to start being realistic, because as long as you're feeding this lie that like this individual's ancestors and this individual's ancestors and this individual's ancestors, that all their ancestors were active in the 60s, changing the laws, the legal system in America, like they just have to prove it. You know what I mean? They have to prove it. You know, occasionally there are black Americans whose ancestors were involved in the 60s. And like, you know them. So there's this woman, so there's this guy, so that y'all know that movie, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And The Spook Who Sat by the Door, there's this white boy there who's like absolutely convinced that he's a black man, right? He's absolutely convinced that he's a black man. But he's like straight up a white boy. He's like incredibly light skinned. His daughter is actually, so that white boy was actually a part of the Black Panther Party. Okay, so he was involved in the quote unquote black liberation movement in America, right? And his daughter, she's a whole like feminist coon right now, right? But his daughter can make the claim, hey, look, my ancestors did help, you know, with the black liberation movement, right? But you should know your parents from the 60s. And you got to look into the lineage of your parents and what they were actually doing in the 60s. A lot of people were not, because like the Black Panther Party, if you really like want to be honest, particularly like the underground part of the Black Panther Party, it was like 50 people. You know what I mean? It was like 50 people, you know. It wasn't a huge ass party, you know. We're talking about the Black Liberation Army, right? But it's like 50 people. It's not, you know, and this is a population of like 40 million people. It's not like, you know, 40 million people can claim to have been involved with any of this stuff that we're talking about. And I mean, you just got to be honest you got to be honest, because if you're not honest, what happens is that you're feeding these egos, and they're realistically coming after this gentleman. And I mean, he did make a bad comment, and it's a little bit on the it's a little cringe, but it's not the worst thing you can see, you know. It's a little cringe because it's not like he has a time machine. If he had a time machine, then sure, saying you want to kill somebody's ancestors, that's like, holy shit, what, you know. But if you don't have a time machine, it's like, you know, like, who really cares, you know. This is Ghost of Okello. He says, prior to the Rwandan genocide in 1994, although there had been ethnic clashes happening earlier, Kofi Annan, the reason why I want to say the time machine thing is because people always say that shit about Hitler. You know, they're like, if I had a time machine, I'd go back in time and shoot Hitler's parents or something, or kill Hitler as a baby. You know, like that's like, it's normal. It's a weird thing to say. It's not a weird thing to say. It's just a normal. It's a normal way to insult somebody and say that you don't like them, is to say, I would kill your parents, you know? Like, you know, like, I mean, it's not like, oh, now you got to get fired. I mean, like, and this is like after the Roe v. Wade overturn, and not like, and a lot of people are like, why are they only targeting this guy? And it's because he was like, oh, we got to come after all this shit. We got to come after gay marriage. We got to come after this and so forth. And I mean, I agree with him. Well, not that I agree with him, but like, I'm not really mad at him for that. But I could see why white folk and queers would be mad at him for that. You know, if he's going to come after more rights, you know, like, you can't have contraception. And by the way, a lot of y'all not listening, condoms are contraceptions. You know what I mean? So these white people are telling you can't even get a condom in America. And that's what I want to say, but we tie it back to the earlier conversation. You know, if condoms are illegal in America, then the condom prices are going to go up because you're going to have to buy it on the underground. You understand? Like, gangs will start handing out condoms. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to get a condom, I got to now go to the hood and be like, yo, y'all got, you know, y'all got some Trojans. Well, no, I should have said Magnums, right? Anyway, look. All right, so prior to the Rwandan genocide in 1994, although there had been ethnic clashes happening earlier, Kofi Annan was told that the way things are going, because of the rhetorics, time would come that there would be bloodshed in Rwanda. And Kofi Annan, instead of taking preemptive measures, started being a denialist, saying Tutsi and Hutu marry each other, get along, XYZ is just a minority hate group, nothing is going to happen, blah, 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 okay? So this is before the Rwandan genocide. Kofi Annan was like, man, it's just rhetoric. So just pay attention to that. This is just rhetoric. Just pay attention to that. So anyway, that was the ABA. I don't know if y'all want to see the full video of the dude rolling up on Pace University, but of course you could always let's see. Bobby Wright says that voice you were using sounds like Pigmeat, the guy who used to be on the radio with Moms Mabley. I don't know. Pigmeat sounds like an awful name, so I cannot tell if that's an insult, you know? Like, that's a really bad name. Like, what kind of name? But I'm going to look it up. Pigmeat. I'm going to look. Oh, wait. Yeah. I'm going to look up Pigmeat later. That's a really bad name. Oh, I just saw his picture. That's not even a thing. All right. Anyway, so let's see. The voice you were using. Okay, so Tanzan says, not this silly anti-African argument again. I don't know what silly African argument, but $30 million. Instead of promoting our own spirituality, this fool is promoting other people's religion. EL is catching up to the last prompt. This fool is promoting other people's religion. This is a slave mentality when we espouse what belongs to everybody else, religion, language, etc. Yeah, $300 million. I'm saying, like, you put $300 million into something that doesn't even generate revenue. That's stupid. And that's the thing. That's the reason why a lot of white people don't even do donations. Like, the reason why the thing that the government does is that they say, hey, if you give to charity, then we will lower your taxes so that you can technically still make some money. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about just building something, $300 million, just building something for something that you can't even profit from, that your people can't even profit from, so all your people got together, put money into the government fund. The government says, okay, we now have this money and we're going to make something that generates income for another people. That's so stupid. But anyway, EL says, instead of espouse, I meant promote, right? Well, I think it's the same thing, right? And then I'm a Bookman laughs at about Trojans, you know? I don't know why I'm a Bookman finds that so funny, but but yeah, so Trojans. All right, so I'll tell y'all to stop. So anyway, that was it. That was the thing. I mean, I don't know if y'all wanted to see this. Y'all, nobody want to see that video? Y'all don't care. All right, whatever. Let's go to the Manginas. Let's see how the Manginas are doing. So this is the old transition. You guys heard it before. Fucking manginas, yo. All right. Like I tell you, a lot of these queers be fighting women for no damn reason. So let's say in the future he will be his parents, right? So this is just a mangina. We're trying to go quick because there's a lot of topics. I was told by Ketzer to just do 8, and so I'm trying to, but like we missed last week. Oh yeah, see this. Look at 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 this. In the future he will be his parents. Oh, no. Okay, in the future he'll be, what? And where are his parents? So this is a little boy walking around for maybe 3 days, right? A little boy. Look how small this guy is. Then some white lady comes along and feeds him. Gives him water, gives him crackers, gives him food. And now he's a little bigger. He's a little healthier. Because this boy was just walking around the village. You understand? Or not the village, or wherever he was, right? He's just walking around wherever he was. I don't know if there's a description of his situation. But he's just walking around wherever he was, starving to death, right? And let's see. Always leave the camera at home when you're help the poor. It's like, shut the fuck up. Oh my gosh. Like that's the trouble with people. It's like you're not even peeping game. If they leave the camera at home, like this camera right here should tell you, what the fuck am I doing? Okay? This camera should tell you, like this pissed me off. I should have put this motherfucker in the BAN because it's like, y'all telling people to put the camera down. No, you need to put food in their mouths because You know what? This boy is not going to be a soldier against white people. He's not. He can't be. And it's a smart thing that this woman put a picture of him. Cause see, as soon as he roll up, cause this is what happened in the Toussaint Louverture story. Okay, so we talk about the Haitian Revolution. The Toussaint Louverture story, and I don't know how the music on for some reason, but what happens is you read Toussaint's story. The revolution starts, and for months, Toussaint starts the war. For months the war is going on, and Toussaint is defending his master's plantation. For months. You understand? Because the thing is this, that you can, like, as a human being, you cannot, like, it's very, especially if you don't have the political education, and a lot of people do not have the political education, and here's the thing, this little kid is going to get a political education from this white woman. And it's going to be hard to overturn this political education. This is the trouble that we're having. This is the trouble we have. When you let other people feed you, I'm a little bit agitated. Because you got black fools saying, man, you should just do the thing and not. No, fool, if she's doing this already imprinted in this boy's mind. He's walking around like this. And the reality is this, if she does not intervene, he's going to just fall down somewhere, roll up, and die. That's it. Little kid. His whole life gone. Roll up and die. And this is around his own people. And now you got this woman coming in from another country. Okay, another woman coming in from another country. Sees this little boy and feeds him, clothes him, visits him regularly. Not like a one-time thing. Says, hey, look, I met you before. You're looking better. I left you with some food. You're looking good. I gave you clothes. Like you guys getting this little boy walking around naked. And look, here's the thing. You could be like, oh man, this is fake. And the thing is this, it's really hard to fake this. So his mother and father have a kid. They say, look, we can't support this child. Send him walking. And he's just walking the streets looking for food. Too small to walk, but he gotta. Naked, not even clothed. To die. That's what I'm saying. Like, I originally when I saw this, I didn't really care too much. I'm not gonna hold y'all. But like seeing this black fool talking about, I'm not trying to be agitated. You shouldn't be agitated. You shouldn't be emotional, right? Always leave the camera at home. Motherfucker, And of course, you're probably gonna see some black fools. Always telling people how to help out. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh, and then somebody gonna disrespect her and say, yo, your forehead's crazy. I mean, she do got a big forehead, but it is whatever. I mean, some people think that's like part of, like some countries have like bigger foreheads. Like, nobody gives a shit. This is like just insulting people for their appearance. Like, this is something else, because you are supposed to. This is what I mean by peace. You go into a political career so that you can feed people. There's feed. Let's see. I knew it rhymed. Feed, lead, and something else. But bleed maybe. All right, but there's another word. But yeah, you have to feed people. You have to feed people. You have to know who to feed, who to bleed, who to lead, who to So there was another one, but it doesn't matter. Who cares a shit? You have to know, and this is tragic because this boy, if you want this boy to be loyal to his family, to his parents, to his tribe, to his people, if you want that to happen, it's probably not going to happen. Because especially if this woman got video proof, because she could be like, oh, it was just a dream. No, that's you. This little boy walking around to die. And your people walking by like, oh, unfortunate kid. And then some white lady comes out of nowhere. Comes out of Europe. Comes out of America, wherever. Comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I'll give you something. Right? Here you go, little boy. Here, eat up. Oh, you don't have any clothes on? Don't worry, I'll give you some clothes. Right? And then you want this little boy to grow up and be like, oh, go kill Whitey. Why? You know, somebody was telling me about this. I never read it. Things Fall Apart. They were saying that in Things Fall Apart, you know, a lot of people who turn to these white folk, right? A lot of these people who turn to the white folk were disenchanted in the community, you know? Like the people who had to kill their twins, or the people who couldn't find, or the people who weren't fit, you know, whatever. Whatever it may be, right? You can't have these. People are going to take advantage of the disenchanted. You know, if I were starving, or let's say it this way, right? Shit hits the fan in America, right? People always tell you got to get your canned goods, you got to get your firearms, you got to get your martial arts training, whatever, right? You do all that shit, whatever, right? Shit hits the fan. You're not getting any fucking food in the city. You know, you have your canned food. Canned food could last you how long? Now you're waiting for something to go right, but the reality is this: you need to acquire some fucking land, and you need to defend that land. But you need to acquire some fucking land, right? Now here's this: shit hits the fan, right? I'm kind of like in a mixed area, right? You're gonna have to open your fucking eyes, okay, and realize that you're not gonna be able to survive on your canned goods. You're not gonna be able to survive on your martial arts skill. The only way you're gonna fucking survive, right, is if you make some strategic alliances. And the reality is this: you might get killed on sight when you go to the people who've made strategic alliances before you. You know what happened after that flood in, I think, New Orleans or whatever? Black folk walking around. They had their canned goods, they had their firearms, they had all that shit. They're walking around starving, hungry, because that's what's going to happen. And then you know what happens? They got gunned down on sight. And that's the fate that awaits a lot of us. Y'all saw the earlier video of what's going on in Rwanda? What happens when you walk 200 miles to another location, so on and so forth? You arriving with nothing. What do you expect them to give you? And we're going to talk about Morocco later, right? What do you expect people, how do you expect people to greet you? They're either going to greet you with open arms, or they're going to greet you with closed fists. And a lot of times you don't know because it's 200 miles away from you. So now let's say what happens is this. Shit hits the fan. I eat my food in my pantry. My food's gone. Or even if I don't eat my food in my pantry, people gotta start knocking on your door. There's no police banging on your door. I'm hungry. I can help out. I'm hungry. Open that fucking door. And you waiting for what? Then your food runs out. Now you got to walk around. I'm hungry. Open your fucking door. Or I'm hungry. I can help out. You got to realize this is the real world. It's the real world. All right. So EL, let's read the comments. Facts. EL says Haiti. Flag. Trigger Happy says this is where there are good white people starts at. Yeah. Because this is the thing. When shit hits the fan, you're gonna be looking for either a black person to help you or a white person to help you. You're gonna look for anybody to help you because when you that hungry, as hungry as the little boy is, when you that hungry, you need somebody to help you or you're going to die. And when you die, you are removed from this planet. And when you die, and when you're dying like that kid was dying, you are suffering every minute of your existence. You are suffering a pain that is unlike any pain you've experienced. If you cried over a woman, or you cried over a man, or you cried over a test, or you cried over anything, none of that pain compares to slowly dying of hunger. None of it. And that's how a lot of people are living right now. And the reality is that if you can walk around and help them out in their time of need, they are triggered, they are programmed to return, to reciprocate that aid. They have to be politically educated to do otherwise. And the trouble is this: you're not even politically educating any of your people. You understand? This podcast reaches 15 people at this moment. 15 people are listening to this podcast. That's it. It's a good number. I appreciate everybody. But that's just 15 people. Just imagine that, 15 people. You can't fill a room with 15 people. You can't fill a room with 15 people. There's no room in your... If 15 people were in your bedroom, right? You might say, oh, it's a little tight. But you could fit more people. You're not even sweating it. You're like, okay, 50 people, all right, maybe everybody step out. That's how small it is. And this is going around the entire planet. So the entire planet Earth, right? Only 15 people can hear this. I want you to figure that. All of us could go in a room and be like, oh, okay, it's kind of tight. In the living room, in the dining room, we could just sit down on this floor. That's how small this is. Anyway, so EL says this integrationist idea got Toussaint killed too. Yeah, of course it did. You know? But the reality is that he stood up for the trouble is that he stood up for this man for months while our insurrection was happening. And that's something that you're going to expect from African people all over the planet. Because like what happened with the Black Panther Party was active, a lot of African Americans were not a part of it, obviously. And then it just died. And now we're like, oh yeah, you see how brave we were, how bold we were? We weren't a part of that shit. We weren't. And see, with me, I always knew my parents weren't involved in that because they weren't even in the country. But but like I also looked at it like, hey, you know, I can't say shit about, you know, so on and so forth. I'm happy that my father was involved in some sort of political party stuff in Jamaica. So I could appreciate him for that. But you got to be realistic about your lineage. You know, I could go back and say, hey, like I do have some ancestors who were Maroons though, so I could give props for that. But you have to be honest. If you're talking about lineage matters, you got to be honest with that. What is your lineages? Because it's the 60s. You already know what was happening in the 60s. You know what happened in the 70s. You know what was happening in the 80s. You know what they were doing. You know, a lot of y'all like, oh yeah, my dad was just a Rolling Stone. Like a lot of people report on how their family was. Like, oh yeah, my father was just cheating on his mother, his wife, and beating her. He wasn't involved in the political parties. And you know this. Not to say that nobody in the political party was doing that, but you know what he was doing. You're like, oh, my dad was a janitor for this, blah, blah, blah. You know what he was doing. You know? If you know what your parents were doing, then don't try to say that you helped in building anything. Or you helped in the legal code, changing the legal code for other people to come into the country because you know that they weren't a part of that. Just like right now, I know I'm not a part of changing the legal code for student debt or something. I know I'm not a part of the legal code for that. I mean, I could say, you know, who or what I voted for, sure, but I can't necessarily say I'm a part of the legal code for any of the stuff that's going on in the U.S. Political sphere right now. And you got to be honest with yourself. You know, if in 50 years people say, hey, man, you know, I helped you get cheaper student loans. I didn't. If my kid tells you that, you know, you can call me up and say, hey, why your son saying that you was a part of lowering student? Because I wasn't. You know, there are black people my age who are a part of that, right? But it wasn't me. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, EL says this murdered. Yeah. So Learning Curve. So shout out to Learning Curve. Make sure you guys check it out. The whitey missionary is our enemy. We need our own missionaries. Absolutely. Tanzan says that little black boy has been neutered. He is not going to fight. He's going to love them all his life. She snatched his life and soul. Yeah, but like, you know, that's the reality. That's the thing about the human condition. You save somebody's life and then they try to repay you. And this is like going back like millennia. You know, this was like written in the walls of Kemet, literally, right? Like there's this guy, this white boy who went down to Kemet and like he studied the walls, the literature, and then he recorded what he learned. And that was one of the things he learned, you know? So it's like legit. This is like, I can show you guys. I'm not even capping. What is it? Kemet. What the fuck? Like this is legit. So it's like this is legit. White boy went to Kemet. Okay, he goes to Kemet and he finds out. He's like, these are the teachings that this guy learned off the walls of Kemet, right? Like legit. This is what a white boy learns, and it's like, what is it? I think it's help, and I think it's a really important thing. No, it wasn't help. Oh yeah, saves. Yeah, so the man who knows how to lead one of his brothers toward what he is known may one day be saved by that very brother. Okay, so it's not this exact quote, but like basically this is what he's like. When you're in ancient Egypt, you study the ancient Egyptian wisdom, and they will tell you, yeah, if you can teach somebody, this is what he's saying. It's like, if you can teach somebody, they may come back one day to save you. If you can help somebody, more or less, they may, like, part of human nature. You know, this is nothing to do with white folk. White folk weren't even, like, allowed in this circle at the point. He's like, if you can, so on and so forth, or at least not white Europeans, if you can, pretty much, if you could save somebody, they're going to come back and try to repay you. And that's it. That's it. Anyway, so that's something important to just recognize. And then, you know, for us to be like, well, don't take a photograph. Like, shit. This should inspire you to go out there and feed people too, because we could do the same thing. We could, as Tanzan put it, we could have a little black boy who's neutered from attacking us. You understand? Who's not going to fight us? Who's going to love us all of their lives because we did something good for them. Because we kept them alive when even their parents wouldn't. You know, I actually put some of that in the Book of Power, by the way, for those of y'all who don't know. Anyway, let's see. Learning Curve says all revolutionary acts start with the badolo, the powerless. Keeping them confused keeps you in power. White supremacy ideology. Yeah, you keep people confused and they're not fighting you. They're not, because here's the thing, you know, right now we credit the like for instance, one thing we praise the Black Panther Party for is that they fed the children. Then we say, you know, Black Panther Party makes it so that public school, like they made the public school start feeding us. Blah, blah, blah. So that's our accomplishment. Stupid. If the public school system is feeding you now you are owing them. A lot of black kids are like, Mom, let me just go to school so I can go eat. You're not even feeding me at home. Oh, Saturday and Sunday come along and they don't have breakfast. They're like, oh, but the school system is feeding me. You understand? School becomes school, and the white system becomes the refuge from the bad parents. And so the loyalty to the parents doesn't exist anymore. You know? And you as a parent, you have to be on top of this stuff. All right. We're going to go to the next one, though. That was a good little thing. We had diabetes because of food deserts. What the fuck is this? We have diabetes because of food deserts. I know. I feel like I write these descriptions and then I don't remember. Oh, okay. The page was deleted. I don't know what the fuck this was. Oh, yeah. I think they were blaming food deserts for diabetes. Who gives a shit? All right. So more new blacks. What are the new blacks saying? Let's see what the new blacks are saying. And what category is this, by the way? Oh, the manginas. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this motherfucker. Oh, my gosh. Fucking hate new blacks. All right. So look at this right here, man. Look at this. Like, I thought this motherfucker was going to delete this shit, but he didn't. So you got this pretty sister, right? He says this is a sister, right? Pretty sister. Now, I don't even think she's dark skinned. I wouldn't even call this dark skin, right? Pretty sister. Okay? You know, that's it. So this queer goes and says, if she dark skinned, she really got to have Eurocentric features to be casted on these white shows. What the fuck are you talking about? First off, she's not dark skinned, right? Like, she's not dark skinned. I think I'm darker than her, right? One. Two, like, black people have a deeper range. This is not dark skinned anywhere, right? I mean, this is dark skinned like in America, but it's not dark skinned, right? Second of all, it's like, okay, so apparently these new blacks don't even know what white people look like. Who do y'all relate to outside of your phone screens? And I say, how in the world does this woman have Eurocentric features? Now, you could possibly say maybe her nose is a East African feature, right? But that's a total misunderstanding of Africa's biogenetic diversity, right? To say that this woman has Eurocentric features, because ain't no European on the planet look this good. You know what I'm saying? like none of them. And it's like, why would you take out a beautiful woman and ascribe that to Europe? That's one of these this is the mangina if I saw seen one before, right? So I said, of what planet does this woman have Eurocentric features? Y'all love the white person so much that you can see a beautiful black woman and attribute it to Europe. New blacks are garbage. And so people were asking, what in the world is a new black? And a new black is basically, I think I actually showed you guys what a new black is. A new black is basically somebody who discovered their blackness late, you know? Like they just realized that they were black, you know? Let's see if I can find. I think I had a few. I think I had a post on what a new black was. Okay, I guess it wasn't. Oh wait, maybe it's right here. She said, "Was a new black flag Twitter immigrant Rafricans? Say it with your chest." I'm like, new blacks are blacks who only learned they were blacks recently. She said she thought it was something else, and this is like flag Twitter, and so this is a image where it's like, recently discovered they were black, says dumb shit online that would get them roasted by black people IRL, typically college educated and wants to end racism by sleeping with whites, you know? And this is actually a high, if you guys know Yu-Gi-Oh, this is a high damaging card. Not that I know Yu-Gi-Oh, just from 30 years ago. You ready that shit? This is 1993. That's 30 damn years ago. That's crazy. All right. But yeah, this is the new blacks. Cause it's like, come on. Like you don't know that there's an East Africa. Like, sure, you might have those sort of features in the like all right, so here's the thing I want y'all to know. So there's I used to read about clans and clusters. I thought that was a really interesting paper I read when I was younger. And basically the physical features that some Africans may have are kind of related to natural selection based off of where they are. You know, so they say that like a flatter nose, for instance, may relate to a more moist location, and like more narrow features would relate to a more arid location. So as to say that if you're in like, you know, for what it's worth, I mean, it's not the best word to use, but like if you're in a rainforest kind of thing, you know, a rainforest kind of setting, moisture. You know, you can have like broad nostrils, and that can, that can facilitate, maybe like breathing there or something like that. Whereas if you're in an arid region, like a desert type region or something so forth, you could have more narrow features. And of course, it's not like a 1-to-1 as much as natural selection kind of just favors one location versus the other. Like you could probably run farther or jump higher in a region more suited towards your phenotype, and so that phenotype may reproduce more in that area, and you could get the same variation, the same variance, but again, it's not Eurocentric, and again, like I don't even think she has that kind of narrowness, and of course, you gotta look at the lips, and you just you kind of don't even care about that other stuff, but like I wouldn't even like, this is just a new black, and I hope you guys could peep that. Let me see what the comments are like though, because I'm probably somebody's gonna be like, yeah, she's a whatever. Nobody cares. All right, whatever. I don't give shit either. Then you know what I'm saying. But yeah, she's a beautiful woman. Obviously, like the hair is trash, but at this point you kind of just get used to that. So we're gonna go to the past me's next. Y'all already saw the past me transition. This one's actually kind of. All right, so that was the past me transition. I like that one too. Although I'll tell you, man, that ABA one is so good. I like shit. Kind of want to play it again. All right, so this is a misandrist in the making. What is this? Let's see. It's an Oni post. So yeah, y'all see I got my own Twitter. I'm on social media. You guys know what it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is an important story. So it says, if this woman loses weight in 10 years, she will go on about how all black men are violent and abusive, never connecting that it was her choice to be with the worst examples of men. The cycle continues, right? I got one like off of this, so you know how it is. But basically, this is what it is. And this guy, I think I should block this guy. Like, you want to block this guy. He's always kind of trashing black men kind of thing. But this is actually an important story. So it says, can we find this couple and check out? Oh, wait. Which one is this? Oh, this is a different one. No, which one is this? Oh, this is another one. I thought I was talking about the other one. I think I talked about it last week. But can you find this couple and check on that child? If this man is abusing this child in public, we don't know how far things are going in private. Save these kids. Basically...
Abusing your daughter in public. You got to get your ass abused if you keep fucking talking. Oh, really? Yeah. I want you to try it. That's why you record. I want you to try it. Really? Yeah. Really? Try it. That's why you try it. See what happens. That's why you record.
All right, so basically, long story short, this guy, I think he strikes this kid in the head pretty hard, and like yelling at her and stuff in the middle of the mall. So this lady behind the counter records them, and then the man and the woman, they kind of approach the... they're yelling at this woman for like not minding her business apparently, and then later on they get this taller girl to call the woman a bitch. Like the parents tell her, like whisper to her, call this woman a bitch, and then when she's asked, did your parents tell you to say that? She goes, no. But yeah, it's not even that important in retrospect. So, but like yeah, misandrous in the making in the sense that you're gonna be in these abusive relationships and you're going to think that it's right to defend them or whatever, and like partially it's tough. It's a tough call. Because again, if you're in an abusive relationship, you can't just walk away in front of their face because they will abuse you. You know what I mean? Like because if you live with somebody, it's like that's the misfortune about living with other people. That's why I like that what the brother was saying about hut life. In the sense that if you live with other people and they. If they're always with them, it is kind of difficult. It is grating, especially if their personality needs some work. Like you tell them, hey, don't hit the kid, or don't hit our kid, then they're going to it's really tough. And the thing is that it's really hard. It's just a really bad situation. It's just really bad, and like I said, eventually these people are gonna break up because they're unsuited for human company, right? They're going to break up, and then she's going to turn around and be like, yeah, black men are shit. But why is she going to say that? Because she hooked up with a shitty black man, and there's a lot of shitty black men, and that's the thing, that there's a lot of shitty black men, a lot of shitty black women, and then we just have to correct it. But anyway, we're going to go to this one. The first male passed me. We're trying to hurry up, we're trying to hurry up. We're actually not making good time, are we? No, we're not making good time. So let's go. I hate that America coughs and we get the damn flu. The repercussions of Roe v. Wade will be widespread in Africa. In Africa! I hate it. So, yeah. So shout out to Blueprint, the Blueprint. This is always trying to get me to speak Swahili. She goes, it is really interesting to me how Africans all over the world have found a way to insert themselves in this very white matter. Ish. At Onitaset, thanks for the eye-opening reads, And that's the thing. It's like white folk, it's like Roe v. Wade, what's that got to do with us? So I'm going to just link this quote from Malcolm X, which is something that everybody should memorize. You try to memorize this quote from Malcolm X. So this is somebody else says, comply, you won't die, # George Floyd. And he says, this is Malcolm X, he says, if there's one thing I hate more than a black man who acts like a white man, is a black man who acts like a white woman. So this person before, that was like the first male past me, I think. I mean, maybe there was more, I don't know. But that was definitely a male past me. So anyway, we're going to go to the next one. We're just trying to rush through because it's not, those stories are not as critical or as important as other ones. Let me just check the comments, see how the comments are. Let's see. Trigger Happy says, do you have one for Comrades? Oh, yeah, I got one from Comrades. Where's Lero at? Lero contributed to the one for Comrades. Oh, and I also got, what was it, Nevolutionaries? Oh, that one's good, too. All right. Anyway, Tanzan says, # Hunt Life. But I already showed the other two on Twitter. So if you guys are not following Twitter, just let me know. Tanzan says, # Hunt Life. Yeah, I mean, like the brother was talking, Tezzy was talking about, how difficult it is to just live around another person 24/7. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, realistically, 24/7 is a lot, but realistically, it is pretty good to wake up next to people. People actually like that. But that you have to be a good man or a good woman, for people to enjoy waking up next to you. And so I think that's partly why, like, a lot of humans in the past were good people. And so I think that's why they thing. So a pass me is just someone who doesn't ignore white women. So I want you to know, pass me. So I have a definition of pass me. At least a pick me is trying these women hard pass, right? But like a pass me, if you really want to look into it, it's just they just can't ignore the white women. So let's see. So this is it. So first you got this white woman. She goes, being a straight woman is wild because you have to date your only natural predator. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? What the fuck are you talking about? But then you're like, okay, that's a white woman talking about white men. So this is a white woman talking about white men, got nothing to do with black folk. Maybe white men are their natural predators. I don't know. Don't even care. You know? Like, I'm not necessarily, like, I'm not super angry at white people in general, I guess. So I'm not like, you know, like, I don't really, like I'm not, I don't know. Like, I don't even know. But what I could say is that, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. Like, I'm legit at the point. I'm at the point right now where it's like, I just literally don't care. I want to help our people eat more. You know, I want to help our people live peaceful, productive lives. And that's really what it's about. However, here's the pass me, right? So you're like, okay, who gives a shit? This is antithetical to any serious movement carving out a path of liberation for oppressed and colonized women. So you might be like, okay, stop right here. Stop right here. Stop right here. This is a good statement. Stop right here. Nope. Framing men as natural predators ignores how patriarchy is not a biological phenomenon, but rather a system with a grounded political, economic, and social history. Like, what? If we naturalize men as aggressors without understanding the political indoctrination that goes behind them carrying out chauvinism, we suffocate our ability to foresee a future where women's social existence aren't plagued by patriarchal, imperialist exploitation and violence. You just lost me. You just lost me. You could have just said, shut the fuck up, Whitey. That's your man. But no, what this past me does is she goes, it is men, but it's not necessarily by nature. It's realistically, the men are working together. Like, I'm not working with no cracker to oppress any women. And you can, like, look at my timeline. Like legit, the only women I like the first time I actually wrote, I could say that there was this white person. Like I said, I had this new white coworker, motherfucking lunatic. Okay, I didn't tell you guys this, but I was talking about it on Shoot the Breeze yesterday. This motherfucker has, well, Learning Curve told me yesterday this person might be on the spectrum, might have some sort of autism, because they keep telling us that they have Asperger's or something like this. But whatever it is, this person's like a whole freaking like lunatic, in the sense of they're so freaking annoying, and these white folk are not even like they're just like, whatever, just let her be a lunatic, right? Like, it doesn't matter if she's like compromising the activity, just let her be an, because she's annoying on top of everything, you know, like annoying, like we're talking like writing whole, you know, like word blocks, like chunks of words just for nothing, you know. It's like Juneteenth is coming up and she's like, well, this is the history of Juneteenth and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, shut the fuck up, cracker. Whatever, right? So that's like the one time where I'm like, look, you guys probably shouldn't hire this person again, you know? or not hire them into this sort of position. I don't know. But like realistically, yeah, I'm not working with no crackers to do anything against women per se on the merit of them being women. Like, I have no role in the quote-unquote patriarchy. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, legit, I, like, have no role in this sort of thing. Maybe there are white men who have this sort of institutional thing. Maybe there are black men who have that. I don't know any of them. But, like, generally speaking, it's like that white boy we were listening to earlier. Most people are powerless. You know? Like, most people are powerless. Most people are not in any sort of meaningful political position. And usually the people that aren't necessarily like working against women on the merit of them being women per se. But even if they were, it's like, again, like as a black person, like I'm not a part of it. So the reason why I put this woman as a pass me is because, you know, this woman might be like, hey, you know, we have predators and so on and so forth. Like, I got nothing to do with any of this shit. Like, legit. And then for her to be like, well, framing men, like there's a lot of women with a lot more political power than me. I'll say it that way. You know, like even the autistic chick has, like, in this organization has a lot more political power than me. Because the thing is that I couldn't do half the shit she's doing. You know, if I step out of line as a black person at this job, this just over broke, right? They'll fire my dumb ass for doing it. But this woman's like, oh, I got a medical condition, so therefore I could do whatever the fuck I want, because if you say anything, you're gonna, you know, so on and so forth. You're discriminated against a medical condition that you guys recognize. You know, so it's just a whatever, you know? It's just a whatever. Like, this is a past me. I hope you guys peep that, but it's not that critical for me to keep going over it. Let's see. They call it a good hood because we aren't neighborly. Oh yeah, so this is another past me. Now look, I don't like white folk, just like y'all don't like some of y'all don't like it, right? Tanzan says sounds like a jumbled up word soup. Yeah, I don't like white folk just like y'all don't like. But here's the thing: I want y'all to realize that. So there's this article and there's this conversation that Malcolm X has saying that, you know, one of the reasons why white people did not want to integrate is because black folk just don't have the kind of home training. You know, black folk don't have the kind of home training. So Catch is here. He says, but they're the ones raising those so-called predators. These are her father's brothers, sons, and uncles. Yeah, of course. All the time. It's like that's what I'm saying. It got nothing to do with us as black people. It really got nothing to do with us. But for black women to just go along and be like, well, yeah, you guys, you know, yeah, exactly. Our men are like, what are you talking about? It's like nothing to do with me, you know? But anyway, what I want to say is that I don't like white folk, but look at this shit. This is like, again, this is not how you're supposed to be in a neighborhood, right? So basically you're going to see this white girl who's going to look at this woman's mail and like see if it's her mail, okay? Because their doors seem to be right next to each other. So she just looks at this woman's mail. And then so this woman decides to just insult the shit out of her for doing that. It's not like, see, a part of me is looking at this video like, maybe the girl's going to steal the mail. And that's why you're going to show in this video. Nope. It's really just to humiliate the girl. And it's like, yeah, if I were this white girl, I would be like, the fuck, you know, like, man, these N-words, man, like legit. It's that. So anyway, so I installed the Ring camera and noticed the white lady constantly touching and reading my packages. Here's a video of the first time I seen her bothering my packages. Now, it seems like her door is right in front of the other girl's door. Now, it's possible that this is like a stairwell. I have no idea. Most people are kind of confused why this woman has this narrow ass hallway. Because eventually you're going to see like some other people walking into her house, which is just kind of weird. But again, like, I don't know what's happening, honestly.
So, is that your package? No.
So, all right, so this white girl just goes up to the package and says, is that, you know, and the other lady's like, hey, is that your package? And she goes, oh, no, it's not my package. Because it seems like it's right in front of her door. Now, it's possible this is not her door. I don't know. Like, I don't really, whatever. But it seems like it's her door. And, like, if you happen to see a package in front of your door, you usually go to see if it's yours, you know, because why not, right? So here's a video of her looking at the camera and saying that's smart, right? That's it, okay? Now, after acknowledging that camera, she came back and bothered my package again. Okay? Just looked and walked away, right? So, because of this, and I don't know what she said. Let me see if I can hear what she said. I don't know what she said. All right. Anyway, so then she goes, I left her a nice little note asking her not to touch my packages. So you're like, okay, a nice little note. Let's see what it is. This is for the white lady with the thick glasses, uneven haircut, and dusty shorts. Stop tampering, reading, and touching my packages. Sincerely, fuck around and find out. And like usually you're like, you know, you don't want to side with the white folk. You don't mind if people do white people dirty. And so it's like kind of like, you know, I would just brush over this. But this is the past me section. So I want you to know this is not somebody. This is not something that you really want to get close to. Okay, it's not somebody you want to get close to. It's like you could see this, you could laugh at it, you could mind your business. This is not somebody that you want to be intimate with. Okay? Because this is a bit of an extreme reaction to somebody reading, like just looking at your packages. If your door is right in front of their door. You know, it's not like it's like it seems like their door is right in front of your door. I don't know, but it's not even like that extreme, right? So this is some guy, sees a note. She hadn't been there for a few days after I put the note up. However, watching people's reaction was worth the wait. So the guy takes a picture of the package, of the note, and laughs. It's another person who laughs. Yeah, so this is the thing that makes me confused about, is it the white girl's house? Because there's so many people walking in. But anyway. His face, yeah. Other people. Yeah, and then here's the favorite reaction. He said, "That's awesome."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then so she finally seen the note. I think she's too embarrassed to react. Yeah, and then walking by a second time, she's definitely embarrassed because she went up to the door to touch my packages. She didn't this time. So then I think she clarifies. She says, "My door is a low traffic area. The same 5 to 8 neighbors walk by daily. My door is rarely used. I have package delivery service that drop my packages off at this time I choose. It's possible for anyone to think my packages are theirs. Keep your phalanges to yourself. Packages have never been misplaced at my door. I think she's a friend of someone else that lives in the building. The other lady said no when she asked, 'Is that your package?' If you find her, do not harass her." All right, white people are getting out of hand, sending me death threats and racist DM. I said what I said. The door to the right does not lead to any of the neighbors. I am not close to any of my neighbors. We have package delivery service to schedule our packages. The end. Yeah. Oh yeah, see, white people. That's what I'm saying though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you could probably expect people to kind of react to this shit. And that's so yeah. So let me touch on this. So again, like it's white folk, so it's like you don't really care. Like you're not like I'm not gonna Captain Save a Cracker, but like it is a bad look, for black people to do this on their own. Like, and that's why I said about the neighborhood versus the hood. They call it a hood because we aren't neighborly. It's to say that realistically, if somebody was stealing your mail, that's a different story. Somebody was stealing your packages, that's a different story. If somebody's just looking at it, it's like it's not, oh, you a dusty ass motherfucker for doing that. It's kind of whatever. So this is something that I really think is important, because it reminds me of this article I put up, this article that Malcolm X had. Let's see what the comments are actually. EL says facts. Tanzan says, yeah, that's a bit much. Keta says, we're so reactionary. Petty stuff move us so much. Yeah, I mean, it's like I wouldn't like I got a white neighbor. My neighbor actually took my mail, Like I got a package from Target or something like that, and they took the package. And all I did was, it wasn't Target, but still. No, it was Target, yeah. I took the package, and all I did was tell Target it was stolen. Because I didn't know what the fuck happened to it. And then later on, the neighbor put it back outside. Because it was like kind of left out there for a minute. And I guess they were just trying to keep it from other thieves or whatever. Doesn't matter. I just got I got two things. You know what I mean? I didn't tell Target that I found it eventually. But I was just like, look, you fucking left the mail without telling me. And somebody took it. I had no idea how or why. But yeah. So then I just got a whole free package. It was like $100 worth of shit too. I got like $100 worth of stuff free. Because my neighbor decided to do that shit. And I didn't yell at them or anything. I just like, fuck it, who cares? There's like insurance and shit, If somebody steals your package, you just, you know what I'm saying? Like you just pick up your package when you find it. And it's like, it's not a big deal if it's not even a big deal if somebody takes your package in this day and age, I mean, obviously if you catch somebody taking your package, you can get at them, but it's another thing too, to just leave a note saying, hey, please stop touching my packages. right? To just insult the shit out of them and then threaten them, like fuck around and find out. Like, whoa. Yeah, and then like now it's like, why are white people threatening me? Like, what the fuck do you expect white people to do? White people are not gonna, they're not going to not threaten you. You know what I mean? Like if like they're gonna protect their own people, and like you're supposed to protect your own people. So this is Malcolm X's conversation with the FBI agent is telling because he suggests that Elijah Muhammad teaches that Negroes lack home training and tries to correct that. On the one hand, it's interesting. On the other hand, it does rub me as integrationist. What are your thoughts, right? So nobody had any thoughts on this because they don't like when you call Malcolm X integrationist, obviously. But anyway, FBI agent says my mention of education was on the part of white people. And so then Malcolm X says, Suskin had a good program last night on Channel 2 about the same thing, but it showed in there that you had some Negroes who moved into a white neighborhood and the repercussions meant a reaction. Many whites tried to band together and act intelligent, and they found that they couldn't do it. It isn't prejudice. It is their intelligence that won't enable them to do it. They are not going to let someone live and move into their neighborhood who doesn't know how to keep the neighborhood up, right? So like I'll say it this way. Like, for instance, I like I said, I have a neighbor who's a cracker or whatever, white people, right? And I'm kind of too loud because my windows are open. But anyway, like, here's the thing though. Like, I don't keep my front yard up well. You know, white people do want their front yards to be manicured and pedicured and whatever, right? I don't really do that shit. And like I'm saying, like, white people do not like that. They're like, hey, look, we're in a neighborhood, and you know, I mean, they don't tell me this, but like they do not like when people aren't about that. And the reality is this: you go down to a black neighborhood and you might see poop all over the floor. You might see garbage all over the floor. And it's like, you don't want that in your neighborhoods. You know? And this actually goes back, if you ever read Booker T. Washington's book on Up From Slavery, he talks about the same thing. He's like, hey, when black people came out of slavery, they were not keeping up their houses. They were not keeping up the appearance of their neighborhoods. And he was like, we have to teach black people to do that. You know? We have to actively teach black people to do that. And that's a thing. Now, obviously, we live in these big cities where it's like you're not going to clean up garbage off the floor. Or if one person is throwing garbage, or if a handful of people are throwing garbage, you're not really going to do much about it, because why would you? Like, if you go by, like, I'm not going to fucking pick up trash in the streets. You know, one time I did, you know, shout out to this brother. You guys might know him, Akimba. Shout out to him. He one time had this event, like, where we were just on the Parkway in Brooklyn. So there's like this kind of a highway, but it's not really a highway in Brooklyn, where there's just like in a black area, and he had us as an organization picking up the trash, and a lot of black people were like, what are you guys doing, you know? And we were just picking up the trash for other people. And you know, that day I was kind of low-key starving, like I was married and my wife wanted me to do like a no carb diet, and that shit is hard, so I couldn't really participate too much. I tried, but like I was like close to fainting and shit, you know. but like, yeah, like cleaning up the Parkway and shit, or just cleaning up after other people is like a real job. It's not hard, but it's not like, it's not something that we actually do. So, and like cleaning up after yourself is something that, you know, even if, and so like, I think, no, the other thing I wanted to point out was that in Rwanda, Kagame, and at least the capital, he makes sure that his city is super clean, you know? And that's just a thing that it's unusual. And like people in Africa are like, whoa, when in the world this area is so clean, you know? And you see that, because like when I was in Ghana, I saw the streets were kind of dirty too. And not to say that white people don't keep dirty streets. It's just a matter of, realistically, you know, if people do not value cleanliness, it's not a thing that you want around you, right? So FBI agent continues, says, I think this is a big problem rather than the color. So he's talking to Malcolm X, saying, look, it's not even that white people, but Malcolm X is saying, it's not that white people have prejudice and they don't want to live among black people. They just know that black people don't keep up the neighborhood. And the FBI agent's like, yeah, I think that's the bigger thing. It's not even about the color. It's just about, hey, if you have these people as neighbors, they're going to, like, you know, they're going to play loud music. They're going to be outside. They're going to do, like I remember this sister, you know, on my site, there's this sister who used to be like my favorite, supporter. had my website, right? And she was like, you know, when you're driving through, I think she was in Albany or something. When you're driving through Albany, you can see, like you could tell when you go from the black neighborhood to the white neighborhood. Because in the summertime, right, white folk are, like the streets are pretty much empty. You know, it's summer, it's hot, air conditioners are blasting, everybody's indoors. But when you go to the black neighborhood, everybody's out on the streets. So as soon as you cross this one street, right, like this one street, this one block, right, as soon as you cross that place, everybody's outside when nobody else was. You know what I mean? And it's like you could kind of see the same thing. Like I said, like in my area, you know, you could kind of like sometimes you can see kids playing outside or whatever. But like usually, like, but it's not like you know, music's playing outside and the fountain, the water fountain's open and kids are playing in the hydrant and shit. You know, it's not none of that. And yet, you know, and you know, so part of it is, you know, we might have a more outdoorsy culture. You understand? And so these Wazungu are like, we don't want to, like, we don't really, like, what, like, we have our own culture that we want to live in, and you have your own culture that you want to live in. So let's not live together. You know? But anyway, so Malcolm X says, what programs do you know of going on in the Negro communities now that are showing the Negro the importance of property and property values? This is not speaking against our people, but you can't come out of slavery overnight and know what to do with your property. There is no program going on among Negroes today that will show Negroes how to act in a higher society or how to act when given access toward the higher things in a higher society. Now, I don't know why he's saying higher society, but you guys get what I'm saying. And now so basically it's like white people have a higher society and black people have a lower society. That's implicit. Right? And this is what Elijah Muhammad's teaching, right? So he said, and now no white person can say it without being called a bigot, right? And of course, that was what Alan Coulter was saying, you know? Oh, our new America is going to be great because look what they're doing in lower society. Anyway, let's keep going. This is what I mean. The so-called Negro civil rights leader has the white man in a position where he can't even show his intelligence without being called a bigot. But in dealing with a Muslim, you can say at least what you think, you wouldn't be called a bigot. If what you say is intelligent, good. If what you say is not intelligent, then it's not. Then until the two can sit down and approach the problem, you will have a problem of getting worse rather than getting better. It is going to be worse in 1964 than it is in 1963, as long as you got these freaks like Rustin, who is nothing but a homo, who can be projected by the press as a leader of black people. Then you are going to have trouble on your hands. And by the way, that's Bayard Rustin. And so he's like, Bayard Rustin is nothing but a homo. Today, Bayard Rustin's a freaking hero. Anyway, let's go. FBI agent. That is true, and I wish you were right. You know? So this is the FBI agent, by the way. So a part of me is thinking Malcolm X is talking to this FBI agent like, damn, the motherfucking government is in my fucking living room, right? Like they cut it off my phone and shit, you know? But a part of me is also like, this might be what Malcolm X just believes, right? He's like, I know I'm right. And all they are going to do is come up with what they call programs to vent to the frustrations of the Negro, and you can't do that but soften. Sooner or later, the Negro is going to be looking for the real thing, and then you won't be able to control him, and nothing you say will save him or please him or even stop him. Now, unfortunately, the Negro does not become as agitated as Malcolm X believes. So somebody says, sounds like he's a Garvey through and through. Let me explain this tomorrow. I think, yeah, but anyway, this is the Malcolm X. So if you guys were like, hey, man, that's bullshit, you could actually listen to this audio. You could actually listen to this audio of Malcolm X. But this is on the Malcolm X blog site spot. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. But there's actually like a YouTube video you can check out with this thing. And then we're going to jump to this thing right here. I think they talked about this on the Bit of Medicine podcast last week. Well, hold on a second. Let me see what the comments are. President Street was like that. Bit of Medicine says President Street was like that. Yeah, like realistically, people don't want to I kind of like when I'm like, I don't like, I used to, like maybe like 3 years ago before the pandemic, you would hear anybody's song. Like you would hear that, like you would just hear a bunch of N-word songs, just like N-word songs in the sense of like they're just saying the N-word heavy, and they're just driving by your house blasting the music. And the thing is that, I was called loud, on the train sometimes. Like if you're hanging out with a bunch of brothers, you want to be loud. Why the fuck not? Who gives a shit, But like that loudness is not that interesting to people who don't really care to hear from you. Like, like a lot of people just don't really want to hear your conversation, You're like, oh man, you should have seen how I got that girl in the head, you know. And sometimes you're like cursing around kids, and people just don't want to hear it. Realistically, and it's not necessarily unique to black people, but it is something that a lot of us do. This is just a story.
And 61-year-old Howard Hughes faced criminal charges.
Right here, tell me what you do.
Who had been
Basically, this black boy goes into this white boy's area, this white area, and he's just doing like donuts, like a lunatic. Okay, he's just driving around in this car, like a expensive car, like a lunatic, doing donuts, like screeching and all that shit, in a residential area. And so then these white people just kind of approach him, and I think they beat him up. Or like they break his car, they damage his car and throw like rocks to his car and that kind of shit. But it's like, yeah, you have to. And the theme here is that, yeah, people don't want to live around you because of sometimes of the things that you may be doing. Like I told you guys a story about the time that my ex-wife was learning how to drive, and she's practicing in a white area. Like when a white area, I mean like white American flags flying up, right? And she's doing this at nighttime, and these white folk just get out and start watching. Okay, they just start watching, making sure that she does not hit their car. Because if she hits their car, they're going to lynch the three of us. You understand? They're going to shoot and lynch the three of us. All right? So then we just kind of drive off and go practice elsewhere. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, they're going to look after their neighborhood. Because the reality is this: if you hit their car and you just drive off and you don't acknowledge, you don't pay for the damages or anything, they pay for the damages. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, it's not worth lynching a person, and they probably wouldn't really lynch us. I don't know. Who cares? They're not gonna try to figure that out. I mean, it depends on how you talk to them. You know, they're gonna be like, "Where's your information? I want you to ding," and you're like, "It's just a ding. I don't give a shit if it's a ding. I need to get this repaired. Oh, it's just a ding. Okay, we're gonna fucking lynch you, right?" Yeah, so I think that's like enough on that topic. But yeah, this is just the Florida man there just abusing these teens. One, I think it's like 17, the other one's 15, I think. But it's like, you know, he's doing donuts in the street, and his mother's like, why are you bothering him? You should just call the police. And it's like, well, you know, people are looking after their neighborhood because, you know, the reality is that the police don't show up on time, or the police just let you drive off or whatever. Whatever the case, you know, if you were to damage somebody, you know, you should have called the police. But anyway, let's see what the next topic is. Oh, the Alphabet Squad. So let me see. I think I had an Alphabet Squad transition.
It is my mission today to stop you from being a homosexual.
You're a victim. Here we go, see it.
I get so sick of sisters, I don't know what to do.
So that was not the best, I know, but it's whatever. So could be comrades, but I saw queer, so whatever. Oh my gosh, we have so much to do, so I'm just gonna try to rush through this. I know like a lot of people are gonna have to like go about their Sunday. Some of y'all gotta go to church, right? Sorry. So crickets from leftists who dicks up Cuba with no radical racial analysis on the ground experience of day to day on the dozens of black minors being jailed for decades by the state from last year's protests, or that their trials were done without counsel, or that some are still missing, right? So this is about Cuba. This woman's just like, where are you guys? You guys are dick sucking Cuba, but you're not giving about the racial analysis, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, y'all don't actually care about black liberation. Y'all are too married to the campism to even consider these nuances. We'll step right over and not listen to actual black people who live these realities day to fucking day and spout off what the government machine tells you. Rocks for brains. The exact same language the U.S. used to describe black protesters, the government used to describe black protesters in Cuba. The media is state-owned. They spread what they want. Property was prioritized. I recognize all the hoods those kids were from, all black and all marginalized. For the gazillionth time, there are Afro-Cubans speaking in real time right the fuck now about the repression they face on the ground. Follow Alianza Afro-Cubana. I know that folk in real life, they started putting more posts in English to get their experiences out. And I think there's probably something here. And then later on, actually observe and be silent. Actually, shut the fuck up. It took me years to understand the nuances there because I was so entrenched in my own basic bitch understandings that I was fed up. That was fed to me by the left. I drove my partner crazy with questions, and I was spending most of my time over the course of 5 years. So I think the reason why I put this in a LGBT thing is because it's one of these Cuban protesters sentenced to up to 20 years, so on and so forth. No, let's see. Maybe no, I guess it's not one of these. It could have been the one that just before. Anyway, it was really maybe it's probably around here. It was really wild when folks shared photos of the counter-protesters that supported the Cuban government, and the majority of the pics were old and white. The ruling class, in contrast to the protesters who were young and black. Now y'all are colorblind? Fucking unhinged. This should be in the pass me section. I'm not going to hold y'all. Also, the fact that you do not have a choice whether you do these government support parades if you're working for the state. You go to these parades or you have no job. It's not a hard concept to understand. The state has to save face and perform popularity. 2 + 2 is 4. I know folk are reluctant to see and admit these truths because they want an alleged anti-imperialist win so bad. But baby, at the cost of even more black lives, wake the fuck up. You know, then some people are going to like agree with her. Anti-Cuba propaganda is so strong because neoliberalism, because yeah, I might be this one then. I think this might be it. So it's like, hey, look at this. This is Alianza. We are black queer Cubans who advocate in and outside of Cuba. Like, basically, shut the fuck up then. Like, I don't give a shit. You know? like this is the issue with this is the issue with them. It's like, realistically, they're probably pushing that queer shit, and Cuba's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that queer shit. That's American dumb shit, you know? And then they just make it into a black thing. Like, this is just like, fucking LGBT. But yeah, so I don't really care for the Cuba. I think Mr. Untouchable could tell us more about Cuba, but I don't really care for Cuba like that. But like this queer shit, like I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I don't. And that's just it. That's just it. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are going to engage this and be like, yeah, you got it, girl. Every day we see how shitty the world is. This is the fucking, like, it's like nobody gives a shit at this point. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. I don't care. So I'm just going to skip over it. That was it. Let's see what the comments are if anybody liked my impression of her voice. Yeah, the Tanzan did. That's a good angry reading. You know you got it. You heard it. Like, shut the fuck up, lady. Like nobody cares. Like nobody's gonna know what it's like on the ground in Cuba, because how are you gonna know that when you're not on the ground in Cuba? Like, being angry at people for not knowing, and then it's like turns out it's just some freaking people who were like kind of probably like denying the COVID and then also queer and all that shit. Like, who cares? Like you think the government should not do anything? Like, what do you want? What are you asking people? Anyway, so this is another one. Yeah, oh yeah, this is like, what the fuck? I tell you, man, these are like your future teachers and shit. Question mark. Men are so fragile in their sexuality that they can't watch gay men have sex. Laugh my ass off. If you know you're not gay, then why does it ruffle you? You can't even translate this tweet. Can you translate this tweet? Yeah, unable to fetch the translation, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, you don't even know what this is. So yeah, question mark, question mark, question mark. Let's go to the comrades. So comrades, shout out to Lero for this comrade transition.
到最后千万不要可怜他们，你要记住这个东西，千万不要可怜他们，不管是他们家里怎样了，不要可怜他们，这是最主要，你把这句话放在心里，对待黑人。
Yeah, so that's for all the comrades. So the comrades, let's go. And then part of me is just having you with all these topics because I just needed to like have them. Comrades name call. Well, name calling has its appeal. So that's all comrades do. They just name call. But I can't really complain about name calling when I call them comrades. So we're just going to see what this name calling is that they do, and then we're just going to brush over it. So he says, we have a whole new class of black billionaires, and we can't even call them capitalists without a gaggle of weirdos saying we're haters. Like, that's wild. Oh, my gosh. Shut the fuck up. Like, I tell you, man, like, if you don't, like, and like, look at this. She's a pretty woman. Like, you could tell even under the mask. She's a pretty woman. This is probably another picture. She's a pretty woman. And it's like, you could, and look at this. Live in a pretty comfortable existence, right? Like, look at this skyline. Look at this fruit bowl, right? Pretty good existence. And, like, notwithstanding that, look at this, vomiting. Let's see, vomiting, crying, watching everyone come back from home, see Soldan. I must know only fake N-words, because how I hear was in the States as N-words were headed. I don't know what she's saying. But anyway, living a comfortable life, a comfortable existence, nice view, nice food, if that's what you want to eat, if you just want to eat a bowl of fruit, I guess, whatever. And instead of like, but it's like, you just want a name call. They're just capitalists. And the thing is that even if you're a billionaire doesn't make you a capitalist, by the way. A capitalist is somebody who owns the means of production. A billionaire is not necessarily somebody who owns the means of production. But notwithstanding that, it's like, who even cares? You're just name calling. And like I said, you're going to say, like I'm calling their name, so whatever. All right. And so, this one, I wonder if I was blocked from this person, because I should have been blocked. This is the comrades. Like these people are like they kind of belong in the nevolutionary section, but they're like nevolutionaries of their own kind. Maybe this person blocked me. Did this person block me? They didn't. Okay, whatever. Is the UK waking up? I'm so ready for La Revolution. The solidarity is fire, right? So this is the statement from the new NHS workers in London. They're like, as workers in the healthcare, so I guess National Health Services, I don't know. Health and care sector, we offer unconditional solidarity to railway workers taking strike action. We support our fellow workers in the RMT, and blah, blah, blah. You notice that these are never really big stories. Look, June 21st, we don't hear about this again. It's like nothing. How would a revolution in the United Kingdoms look like? Mass protests, strike action, boycotts, class action lawsuits, eating the rich, etc. Right? So it's like, and then what? And then what? No answer. This is like that's why I like Ghost of a Killer. I like this brother. I don't know if y'all know this brother. I like this brother. He's like a really realistic brother. Like when I talk about realism, like he's kind of from that school too. And he's just like, what would a revolution in the United? Because it's like you're a fucking minority. Asada Shakur's burner. You're a minority. And see, I gotta admit, I got a thing for black women, so I'm probably gonna say she don't look bad either, even though she's a little chubby. I'm still gonna be like, yeah, she's a cute lady. All right, whatever. But like, look, that's it. So it's like, what does it look like? What does a revolution look like? Mass protests, strike action, boycotts. And the thing is this is not even a revolution. A revolution is when you take over the government of another people. When you take over the government of another people, that's what a revolution is. Mass protests, strike actions, boycotts, class action lawsuits, and eating other people, cannibalism, is not revolution. It's not changing the government. It's not. This protest right here is not like this is. Y'all already know. Let's see the comments. By the way, y'all, what do y'all think about that? I know y'all love the. Okay. So Trigger Happy actually liked that transition. I think that ABA transition was just fire. I think nothing really compares to that one. But anyway, all right, that was a good one. And Ket is laughing too. I just have to put the Chinese guy at the end because I don't want to go against China. I think China and Russia fighting America is a good thing, so I like that. But I had to do that. Let's see, and then what? I just did it, and then what? And this is the last one. It's politics is about, what is it? Politics is about commercialism. The king in chief was the biggest landowner. This is everywhere. Everywhere, the king and the chief were the biggest landowners. You go to Africa, the chief, like we just saw a video from Afro-Native. No, not Afro-Native. We saw it from Afro Think Tank. Afro Think Tank had a video where he's like, I bought land in Africa. I bought a home in Africa. And the person who owned the land was a chief. Like I had the chief's permission. That's what it is. So it's look at this. So this is a bull named Cumulus auctioned for 1.65 million rand at Ramaphosa's Fala farm. So this is the president. And so now somebody says not a single question about why the president is engaged in commercial activity while in office. Like, come on, guys. We just went over this. Nancy Pelosi is worth $140 million. She's been a senator. She's been a congresswoman for like 40 fucking years. You know, another congressperson, $200 million. Come on, like the politicians, like the politics is about commercialism. That's what I want y'all to realize. It's about establishing peace, but peace through commerce in some capacities. You know, and I want you to quote me on that. You know, obviously I probably won't repeat that quote, but you know, I want you to quote me on that. Politics is about commercialism, peace through commerce. You know, let's do that. Peace through commerce. You know, peace through commerce. Let's see if I can actually put this in my next book. You know, but that's part of it. Part of it is that you want to play a role in peace through commerce. So we're gonna go from that, and we're going to the Nevolutionaries. The Pan-Africanist one is not that good, but it's like part of it is like promoting my book, and you know, you gotta promote your book because part of the reason why you do this podcast. Let's be honest, you know, I want people to buy some books too. You know, like I wrote books. I want people to buy them. That's part of the reason why you would do a podcast anyway. You know, so it's not gonna be the best transition, but you know, you had no commercial interruption, so you're gonna get one. But this is an evolutionary one right now.
Black people just don't get it. We just don't get it. We just don't get it.
Anyway, so that's it. Yeah, all right. So that's an evolutionary one. So shout out to, I can't remember his brother's title, but I mean his at. But you know, his brother. I did a crowdsourcing for these transitions, and the two of them was Lero and this other brother. So you see, it's only one of them. Y'all. Oh yeah. So this is it. This is actually an important video. I want y'all to see this one. So basically, this sister's gonna complain about white folk trying to buy her father's land. She's a beautiful sister too. So colonizers don't change. The only thing they change is their land stealing tactics for the 21st century. And their core white settlers remain a thieving, violent, land stealing bunch, right? But this is what the sister says, and I want y'all to realize. I want y'all to really pay attention to this and ask yourself, what did this white person necessarily do that was so bad? You know. I mean, they are lying, they are manipulating, all that kind of stuff. But really look at it and ask yourself, well, when were they supposed to try to get this land, right? And the only thing I don't like about this woman or black women in general, sometimes, is the hairstyle. I can't stand this hair. Like, it looks kind of silly, but otherwise, this is a beautiful sister too.
Literally, the day after he passed away, there was letters in the mail. When I inherited my home from my grandfather, literally the day after he passed away, there was letters in the mail asking me to buy my house. So I live in Seattle, Washington. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you don't think that gentrification is real, let me tell you something. Gentrification is not just about people coming into your community and paying prices that drive the price up. It's also about feeling comfortable in your community when you are ever so blessed to come back to it or to stay in it. I cannot tell you how many predatory letters I got to buy my home below market value. See, the thing is, they don't think that as black people know anything or what our property is worth and what the value is. They also think, oh, black people need money, so let me lowball them and get them out their house. I live in an area called the CD of Seattle, also known as the Central District, and the property values over here are $1 million and up. Property taxes are a thing, and people know that, and so they feel like, oh, these black families are going to lose their house the minute that somebody passes away, and let me be the first one to jump in and stake my claim. Not realizing that some of us know what's going on and we are not telling. So you get letters saying you're behind on your property taxes when you're not. You get letters saying that you're behind on your mortgage, don't got one. And so there's all these tactics that they use to try to scare you to feel like you are not able to stay in your land. My grandpa bought this house in 1953 and we've been there ever since, and we plan to stay here. And there's things that went on during this renovation that I can't even speak about because literally there's still court stuff happening. But if you guys think that it is not real that people come after your property when you got something, you got another thing coming. This is real and it literally does happen.
Okay, so beautiful sister. Let's give her that. Let's give her that. But this is the thing I want y'all to realize. Look. So I just told y'all I want to sell some books. Damn, how I make fun of my own self? I shouldn't do that. Tanzan says peace through commerce. Kamji verse. I think they were here before. Say I would take commies over ADOS FBA. Yeah, obviously. I mean ADOS FBA trash, but I mean like the commies are like but whatever, right? But like they're still better than the trash. Like they at least kind of used to be reading, you know. And they kind of have some sort of vision outside of just being a doormats, you know, so obviously they're better. Somebody said can't see anything? Wait, y'all can't see anything? Don't tell me y'all couldn't see that. Shit. And I'm there talking about how good this woman looks. All right, so we're just going to, you heard it. Oh, shit. All right, well, we're going to have to play it again because there was a lot of text on. Fuck. All right. Let's do it again. Shit.
When I inherited my home from my grandfather, literally the day after he passed away, there was letters in the mail asking me to buy my house. So I live in Seattle, Washington. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you don't think that gentrification is real, let me tell you something. Gentrification is not just about people coming into your community and paying prices that drive the price up. It's also about feeling comfortable in your community when you are ever so blessed to come back to it or to stay in it. I cannot tell you how many predatory letters I got to buy my home below market value. See, the thing is, they don't think that as Black people know anything or what our property is worth and what the value is. They also think, oh, Black people need money, so let me lowball them and get them out their house. I live in an area called the CD of Seattle, also known as the Central District, and the property values over here are $1 million and up. Property taxes are a thing, and people know that, and so they feel like, oh, these Black families are going to lose their house the minute that somebody passes away, and let me be the first one to jump in and stake my claim. Not realizing that some of us know what's going on and we are not telling. So you get letters saying you're behind in your property taxes when you're not. You get letters saying that you're behind in your mortgage, don't got one. And so there's all these tactics that they use to try to scare you to feel like you are not able to stay in your land. My grandpa bought this house in 1953 and we've been there ever since, and we plan to stay here. And there's things that went on during this renovation that I can't even speak about because literally there's still court stuff happening. But if you guys think that it is not real that people come after your property when you got something, you got another thing coming. This is real and it literally does happen.
Okay, so y'all see this is June 28th, right? So why is this? Why is this important? Why is this important, right? Okay, so what do y'all want from white folk is the question. What do you want from white folk? Kamji says, Seattle produced Cynthia G, so they can never be forgiven, right? But like, what do you want from white folk is the question. What do you want from them? You know, what do you want from them? It sounds like this. Don't say what it sounds like. Because she said, could you imagine they offered to buy it below market value? Well, that's what like, if you make any sort of opening offer to anybody, you're supposed to offer them below market value. You're supposed to. Because that's, Like I want y'all to understand this. So y'all just heard me talking about why do I keep making fun of myself? Let me stop. All right, let me sound like a man, right? I already do, right? All right, but I just told y'all, oh, I'm selling my book. These people, if they scam you from your house, they give you money for your house below market value, $500,000 below market value. Them little letters they sent you, them little writing they sent you, right? That got you to sell your house below market value. Right? For $500,000 below market value. Those little papers they wrote earned them $500,000 or more. Because now they could sell it above market value and make more than like they could sell it $500,000 above or $250,000 above market value, and they'd make $750,000 profit. Profit. And you saying, why the fuck are they doing that? Like, duh, to make $750,000 profit. I tell you, I wrote this book. You know, I'm not making no $750,000 profit from writing the book. You know, all the labor I put into that book, I'm not making no shit, boy. I'm not gonna embarrass myself and tell you how little I'm making. But what I'm going to say is, if I could just send a few notes saying, "Oh, I'm the IRS," and I'm gonna scare you, right? And I made $500,000 doing it. Why the fuck you think I'm? What? Now the only reason why most people don't do that because that shit sounds illegal as fuck. But I'll put it this way: do y'all want whites to sell low and buy high or something? You want white people to be like, "Hey, I'll buy your house for $250,000 above market value." What? What do you want from them? You know? And I said, look, you don't see. Shit, I pressed page up. Let's see what the fuck it is. I pressed page up by mistake. It's like you don't see it's a $500,000 sale. And all you got to do is just send letters. And if the person on the other side is illiterate, if the person on the other side is easily intimidated and easily confused, then somebody else is going to do that to them. You can't cry racism over it. Because this is something that's common in the West. It's not just common in the West. It's just common, period. It's just common damn sense. It's just common damn sense. It's like, in fact, I think somebody said that, so when you're in Ghana, you know, people start, like, somebody was trying to sell a table to me in Ghana, right? They're trying to sell a table to me in Ghana, and they were like, oh, this is going to be 50 CD, right? 50 CD is probably like, I don't know, maybe let's say $8, right? And I'm like, I don't need a table, so why the fuck? They're walking around, their kid, like a whole family. It's a mother and her kid. They're walking around carrying tables, trying to sell these little kids' tables, right? And I'm like, I don't need a table. I don't even fucking live here. But then they're like, it's 50 CD. And then I'm like, no, thank you. Because, you know, they just approach me on the street while I'm walking. They're like, okay, 25 CD. And I'm like, And then like, I'm like, no, thank you. And then they walk away. And then it comes to me, I'm like, you know what? My son is going to eat in the room. He does need a table. So I call the lady back and I say, okay, I'll buy the table for 50 CD. You know? No, I say, okay, I'll buy the table. She's like, okay, 25 CD. And I'm like, no, I'll pay you 50 CD, right? She starts off trying to, like, she wants me to barter down. She wants me to barter down. Like, my refusal kind of, insinuated to her that maybe it was because it was too expensive. But the reality is that they want you to barter down. Okay, they want you to barter down. Because they're supposed to start off higher and, like, they try to maximize their profit. Hey, you know, would you sell your house? And here's the thing too. It's like, if you want to buy somebody's house, the best time to buy it is when they die. Because I'll tell you this, I got some stuff from my mother passing away, and yeah, like we had to share it with my brothers and stuff. Some of them were like, yeah, let's sell it right now. Let's sell it right now. You understand? Because that's when you want to sell. Because if you have there's something there that you don't actually need, that's when you want to buy it. That's when if you're in the business of buying homes, you should also be in the business of reading the obituaries. For what it's worth. Like this not even, it's like, what do you want from these white folk? You want these white folk to walk up to you and be like, hey, your house is market value $1 million. Ergo, I'm gonna whatever. So this is the video that was taken down by this white boy because they started shaming him for it, right? He's like, why do locals not like tourists? And basically this white boy, this kid right here was like, hey, do you want a lablachi? And the white boy is like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. And he's like, a lablachi, you know? And then he charges the white boy, he's like 100 rupees or something like that. And the white boy is like, ain't no way, boy, right? And then finally, like, it goes down to like 5 rupees or something like that. And then he buys it and he's like, oh, this is delicious. And the white boy ends up giving the guy 100 rupees anyway, right? Because of whatever. But he's like, but then white boy complains, he's like, don't try to fucking give me the white man price. And it's like, but that's what it is. Everybody's going to give you the foreign price. So like, if I go to Jamaica, they tell me, do not open your mouth if you go to Jamaica, because you're going to sound like a Yankee, and they're going to charge you more because they know you have more money if you're a fucking tourist. You understand? And so in Ghana, it's the same. Now in Ghana, I don't think the lady was charging me more because I was a foreigner. Although I did look like a foreigner, I think she just upsells everybody, right? But actually, no. In fact, I shouldn't even say that, because even when I have these African art while I was at the beach, a lot of people were just like, hey man, this is 50 fucking, you know, they're not charging other people that kind of money, but they charge me because they know I had money. Because again, if you're a foreigner, listen to me, if you're a foreigner in another country, you are part of the upper echelon of America. You know what I mean? Of America, because what happens is this: the flight to Africa, for instance, was $3,000 fucking dollars, right? And I brought my son. No, I think it was like the flight was $1,500, but I brought my son with me, which means that I just had $3,000 lying around that I didn't need. You understand? That I didn't need for anything essential while I was in America. I just had $3,000 to just say, okay, fuck it, here. Right? Now, of course, you know, let's not say that, you know, I have money like that, but, you know, I just need to go to Africa. And realistically, you got to go to Africa, people. If you ain't go to Africa yet, you got to go. But what I'm saying is that if you have money, like a lot of people like for instance, my ex-wife, now my ex-wife, you know, she does have money, but my ex-wife, but you know, you could have a good income and no savings, you know? But like, if you do have money, right? The thing is this, that, oh yeah, she never even left the country. I don't think she even flew a plane yet. A lot of black folk have never even flown a plane. A lot of black folk haven't even flown a plane, let alone left the country. And that's just a reality of the situation. So if you are actually going to another country, that means that you're a part of a part of a social demographic that has money to waste. Okay? That has savings. You're a part of the demographic that has savings to spend on frivolous things, like bringing your son to another part of the planet. Right? When most people do not leave their neighborhoods. Okay? So they're going to approach you and be like, yeah, I want your money. And the thing is this, that people scamming you, that's just a normal thing. So this was the article that I just saw, or a comment I just saw, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is about. But this pissed me off really, because I hate when black folk do this. They just like start a conversation like you know what they're talking about. So they're like, so Carvana was out here scamming people and selling stolen cars, right? And you're like, what are you fucking talking about? But luckily this woman says, this Reddit thread is crazy. And it's like Carvana's on the ropes and blah, blah, blah. And then so she does two things. So from different threads in Carvana sub on Reddit, the company is a joke, don't buy cars. And they're basically saying that, you know, they did this fake inspection kind of shit. And another one is like all that kind of stuff. But like basically people scamming other people. Carvana has like commercials with like a fox and it's pretty interesting. But like, yeah, people scamming people and trying to get money, get wealth, get profit. Again, this is something that's just global. And like the thing is that you can't complain to white folk. You can't complain to anybody if they're just trying to, if they recognize that you might be an easy target. Because the reality is this, that they're doing it to everybody. The Carvana thing is not, oh yeah, we got to get these from black folk. Carvana was just for everybody. You know? And I think I heard that somebody told me that in Tanzania they will explicitly, oh yeah, when I was in Ghana, the brother was telling me that in Tanzania they will explicitly put two different prices on every good. So they'll put two different prices, one price for tourists, another price for the locals. So I mean, and that's just an honest system. You know, it's like, hey, you know, if I want, but now that's not something that I would recommend for most people, and I don't know if it's even true. I never really heard anybody verify that, and I think that was just his experience in that country. But like that's a thing, you know. And I think I brought it up because I was saying that the property in Ghana is priced like if you were buying it in New York, you know. So you like the houses there are like $1 million, you know, whereas like in other parts of Africa, the houses are like, you know, $40,000 or $20,000, you know, and like for the same type of house. And so, you know, I think he was just pointing out that, you know, some countries kind of just give a separate price. Now, you really shouldn't do a separate price, but then you also really should, because other people are coming in with more money. But anyway, that's but like, yeah, I mean, just for the Nevolutionaries, generally speaking, like, what do you guys want? What do you guys want? You know, you want white people to be like, hey, you know, our people were so mean. Therefore, we're not going to seek to profit from you, but we're going to seek for you to profit. We're going to pay you more money. We're not going to ask to buy your house. Where if you want to buy your house, we're going to take your offer and we're going to add $250,000 to it because, we were so mean to you. Like this is not realistic. It's just not realistic. What this lady described was what you should expect and what makes the most sense. These people are looking like they send these fake IRS letters. Just report them to the IRS if you're like that kind of snitch, and report them for fraud. That's pretty much it. But like frauding people is a normal thing. We, you know, shout out to the Bit of Medicine. One of the Shoot the Breeds, they were talking about a video, and like, you know, I think Mr. Untouchable put it up, but they were talking about a video where the origins of like those Nigerian letters like went back to like fucking France in the 15th century or something, you know, where they're like, oh, I'm a soldier and I just lost my pot of gold or whatever, you know, like some old dumb shit. If you could help me get this excavation to get my gold retrieved, you know, like they were writing that shit in the 15th century, like people scamming people. And this was like two French people. It was just like not even have to do anything with us, right? Not even the same fucking language that we're using right now, and all that shit. So anyway, this Pan-African, this ad, this transition is not the best. I'm not going to hold you. I might change it. But it is kind of like I said, you got to promote your book. So this is it. The 4 fundamental objectives of Pan-African nationalism. Black militancy organized across the African continent and diaspora for African protection. A reduction or elimination of the cost of living. An exploration and empowerment of indigenous African cultures, ancient and contemporary. And basic rights for all Africans in all parts of Africa. The Pan-Africanists do not hold these objectives. Read more in the Book of Power. All right, so it's not the best. I know, whatever, whatever. I gotta pay my rent too. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pay rent like everybody else. All right. So that's it. Learning Curve says tourism is not a shameful industry. We need to do tourism more. Absolutely. Bit of Medicine said lots of Black Americans don't even have a passport. Yep. I mean, a lot of us are just living off of these white boys. We can't hold them. Tanzan says foreigners and tourists will be overcharged everywhere. Make friends with a local person as a representative and a guide. Bit of Medicine says true at 10. Yeah, I mean, like if you got that kind of money, like the reality is that everybody's like when I came back from Ghana, when I went to Ghana, this dude was like he just shoved me into his taxi, and then told me I had to pay, he kind of guilted me to pay even more money than how much I paid. So basically I gave him $100 for this ride, and I didn't even know, but basically I paid for 10 fucking rides. You know what I mean? I had no idea. I just came to the fucking country, and that's he took advantage of me. Then I gave him an extra tip, a big ass tip, and he's just oh, thank you, blah blah. And I kind of detected he felt a little bad, but it is whatever. It's you're in another country, but that's the thing though. It's you're a foreigner, you come in with a big wad of cash, and it was my fault because I legit counted the money right in front of him, I just took out a wad of cash. I don't know. I could have had $1,000 cash on me. I don't know. I didn't think my car was gonna work, and I just kind of counted it in front of him. So he was just salivating and shit. But I mean, of course, it was just because you didn't want to get I didn't know if my card would work in Africa, so you just had to bring cash. Eventually, my card did work. I just got a bunch of charges, but it was tiny charges, 15 cents and shit. But yeah. Yeah, people yeah. If somebody comes along with a bunch of money, and either you rob them, which they didn't, which they're not doing or whatever, right? Or you overcharge them. Why the fuck not? Anyway, so that was the Pan-Africanist one. And I told you guys right here, I said, look, I just wanted to play my transition. I was just asking to be robbed. Yeah, I was like, hey, can you please rob me? Yeah, it was a little scary. I'm not gonna hold you. The reality is that you somebody else's car. I'm not scared. What happened was that I needed to change money, and the guy kind of just rushed me to somebody who was standing at the airport. Yeah, I can change your money. You know what I mean? So it's you need to change your money because you don't know. I don't remember. I think when I was in Jamaica, people would change your money at the airport. That was a thing, And the thing is, the issue with the Ghana airport was that as soon as you walk outside of the airport, there's nothing there, So what happened was that they kind of shoved you out of the airport pretty immediately. So what happened? So it's basically they were doing COVID testing, and so you couldn't just stand around in the airport. You had to essentially you had to get your COVID test, and then you had to go to a waiting area to listen for whether or not you didn't have COVID. Somebody actually did have COVID on the freaking airplane, and they had to go back more or less, right? So you were in this waiting area, you listen for your name to be called. As soon as your name is called, you get to go through the gate, and as soon as you get through the gate, you're out of the fucking airport. You know what I mean? And so it's not so usually you would expect to change your money at the airport, but as soon as you step out of the airport, you're out of the fucking airport. And so I was there, and I saw somebody in front of me, and I'm looking around lost. I wasn't sure what to do. Technically, I should have just opened up the Uber app and taken the Uber, but I still wouldn't have had any money. But whatever. So I saw this guy. This guy walks out to me, and he's like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" I'm like, "I'm looking to change my money." And so he brings me over to somebody to change my money. And then he's also a taxi, and then he just rushes me in the taxi, and then he charges me. And I asked him what the price is, and he says this price. And by that time, $100 for a taxi is not if you're from New York, it's that's good money, and that's cheap. In fact, it probably wasn't even $100. Probably was $50. But it's in New York, that's exactly how much I paid in New York. You know what I mean? And it was a much shorter ride in New York too, you know. But the thing is that in Ghana, that same ride would have been $15 because everything is just a lot cheaper. But from a New York perspective, like yeah, a ride to the airport is $50. You know what I mean? But it's not $50 in Africa, pretty much. Like if you guys look at my Uber history in Africa, it was like you would take these long ass rides and they were like $15, you know, or no, sorry, like $5, like $7. And like in America, if you were to take those same rides, they would be like $100. It'd be like you just like there would be a lot of money. So it's just, you know, but like again, if you're there, if somebody says $100 to go, you know, 50 fucking miles, you're like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But in Africa, it's like to go 50 miles, you could pay $8, you know, even the heavy traffic and everything. It's just weird. It's like so much cheaper, but you don't know. So it's not like he robbed you per se. I mean, it's just that, you know, it's whatever. And he told me the big guilty story, and I didn't really care. Like I was legit like just overwhelmed by being in Africa for the first time. It was so wonderful. Like legit, I gave the airport guy who like helped my son with the paperwork, like some of the paperwork. I gave him $20. You know, just like I don't give a shit. I didn't know it was a lot of money there because he started following me like. Like, hey, let's be friends. Let's hang out. Let's do whatever. And I was like, what? But like, $20 there is like it's like if somebody gave you $100 in America. You know, just somebody just gave you $100 for helping them with paperwork, just randomly. Like you're like, oh my gosh, this is a fucking baller. All right, but you know, $20 in America is like shit. It's like who gives a shit. All right, I wanted to pay this. I just wanted to pay my transition. So like, I'm not trying to disrespect Nana. He's a cool president in Ghana. But here's the story. Hold on, I smell something. What the fuck is that? All right. It says crisis hits Ghana and it changes his mind and turns to IMF for help. So basically, Ghana is now going through some big ass inflation, and the dude who like essentially like maybe last month he was like fuck you IMF, and everybody was like yeah fuck IMF. And now he's kind of just rolled over. So people are now, you know, writing their own shit. Like, the war in Ukraine has affected Ghana more than Ukraine. And they're laughing at all this shit. But again, it's like you have to improve your economy. Otherwise, you know, like you're going to get screwed over. You can't, like you have to be producing things. You have to be productive. Somebody else says, we can confirm that the authorities have been in touch to request funds support to Ghana's own economic program. The IMF now stands ready to assist Ghana to restore macroeconomic stability, safeguard debt sustainability, and promote inclusivity. Inclusive and face the impact of the war in Ukraine and the lingering pandemic. We are looking forward to meeting with the authorities in the coming weeks to start the initial discussion. So this is a problem in the fact that, you know, we're not even in the war in Ukraine, you know? So we're just gonna say this. So like, no disrespect to Nana. Like I said, if you feel like you could do a better job, then go and do a better job. Like realistically. So I said one of the issues that we have in Africa is that Africa generally isn't really economically worthwhile unless you're only into raw materials. But the thing is this: you can't say the same thing about Japan. You can't say the same thing about China. You can't say the same thing about America, or you can't say the same thing about Germany. You know, like say what you want. Japan is doing that anime shit, if not technology. Like a lot of the technology that we have in our homes is produced by Japan. You know, so you got Sony, which does the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation. All that shit is Japan. You know, you got Samsung. Actually, I think Samsung might be Korean. But like, notwithstanding, the reality is that they are producing things, notwithstanding their lack of raw materials, right? You got China, who's like a manufacturing powerhouse all over the world. You got America, who's another manufacturing powerhouse all over the fucking world. And you got Germany, who also is another manufacturing powerhouse. But then you ask yourself, well, what do I have in my home that's produced in Africa? What is around the world? Because, like, again, the PlayStation 5 thing, you might just sweep over that and be like, who gives a shit? Or the Samsung radios and the headphones and all that shit, you might be like, that's just the radios and shit. But these are fucking Asian countries. They got nothing to do with anything. America could produce these same shits. And America tries. They have their Xbox. They have their so on and so forth. But the fact that they are doing this stuff, and then we kind of do have international music and shit, but That's about it. Oh, you know what? I think that smell might be like a barbecue shit. I'm just like, what the fuck? Is somebody burning my fucking house? Anyway, yeah, so Japan and China and so on and so forth. So I say, look, we spend so much time stressing how minerally rich Africa is. We don't even see how corny that sounds. It's what messed up Africa in the first place. Go and see Mansa Musa. So if you guys don't know the image of Mansa Musa, I want you to realize that, like, Mansa Musa is freaking... So they say he's, like, the richest person on the planet, right? This is the most important image in... Like, this is the most important image you gotta see. So this is Mansa Musa. So this is Mansa Musa. I don't know if you guys recognize this picture. This is Mansa Musa. Now, if you guys don't know where this picture is from, it's from this. Okay? So this from this picture. Now you're like, what is this picture? Right? Okay, so basically, this picture is a really old ass drawing. Okay? So for those of you who do not know, this picture is a really old ass drawing. I wish I could see if I could like get some citation as to how old this drawing is. So let's just see if Wikipedia is reliable on this. This is Mansa Musa depicting an imperial golden globe in the 1375 Catalan Atlas. Okay, so the Catalan Atlas, you see right here in the description, it says this is the medieval. Wait, hold on, let me make sure that you guys can see the screen. Actually, yeah, okay, good. The Catalan Atlas is a medieval world map or whatever, created in 1375 that has been described as the most important map of the Middle Ages in the Catalan language and as the zenith of medieval map work. So zenith means the highest point. So this is the most important map in the Middle Ages. I don't know what the Catalan language is. Okay, we probably could look into that. In the Catalan language. Okay, so Catalan, this is I don't remember what, like, I guess Portugal, I don't know, right? You know, we talk about El Andalus and so forth. So, so this is the most important map of some area. I don't remember what this is. Like, I feel like this is Portugal. I don't know Europe that well. Maybe this is Portugal, I don't know. But this is some region. It's really important. They say Eastern Spain. Okay, yeah, Spain. I was like Spain and Portugal, one of them, whatever, right? So I don't know which one was to the left or right. I feel like Spain was bigger. So yeah. So Eastern Spain, the most important map in the Middle Ages in the Catalan language. And on that map is a drawing of a black man in Africa holding a piece of gold up. Like, damn, I'm rich. Okay? There's literally a picture of a black. They're like, hey, this is the map of the fucking world. And on this map is this rich ass Negro. Okay, 1375. Right? Now he already died in 1337. Yeah, he was mad young. He died at 25. That's crazy. Anyway, but that's actually really young. But anyway, and that's actually weird. Look at this. They said he went on a Hajj in 1324. So if he was born at 1312, he was only 12 years old when he did this shit. I'll tell you, man, it doesn't make no damn sense. So they made a 12-year-old go across with a bunch of enslaved Africans. He was himself African, and he was the enslaver, right? They made a 12-year-old make this big-ass trip into Egypt and showing off his gold. And then here's the thing. They're now put him on the map, immortalized as Africa. Africa has these rich gold deposits. And the thing that you're going to figure out when you read Adam Smith's, if you read Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, he says that the Spanish and the Portugal, one of the things that they were doing while they were in America, where they were always asking, where are the gold mines? Where is the gold? Like, they would see the Native Americans walking around in gold, and then they would try to get the gold from them by trading food or what have you. But, like, the reality is that everybody wants gold because gold was so important to the European economy. And I just told you guys about smuggling of gold earlier. That was from Wealth of Nations too, right? But, like, because gold is so important. So now this black man's on the fucking map with gold. And this is just gold. Nowadays it's coltan. You know, we're like, oh, we got so much aluminum, we got so much coltan, we got so much bauxite, we got so much blah, blah, blah. We got this, we got that, with this, with that, so on and so forth. You're not producing anything. You're not defending yourself. You don't produce anything worthwhile. And then it's like, of course, Nana's going to come into this kind of situation. Of course. You know, of course. And I think you guys already saw my video earlier. I'll probably play it again. Oh, maybe oh no, it's not this one. But let's see what this thing right here is. Just to check it out. Just to give you FYI that this guy's on the fucking map. Like he's on the map. It's not even like, oh, he's a whatever. So let's see. So somebody says, today I measure inflation in Ghana at a stunning 50%. In a last-ditch effort, the government has begun negotiations with the IMF on a bailout deal. Spoiler alert, another IMF loan won't save Ghana's economy like its past 17 IMF when it's over. So what do you reckon will save Ghana's economy? Oh yeah, somebody said that you put this guy as a, enemy within. Make them sell the country, give China or US, make them come rule us and develop the nation. Black man never go for anything better. Give a fellow black man. So basically he's like, sell the country to China and US. And you might be like, hey, this is enemy within. A lot of people are going to be of this opinion. A lot of people in power are going to be of this opinion. It's like, how do you make peace? Sell it to the people who can make peace. But that's kind of a stupid opinion, and we're just gonna skip over it. But the thing I want to say is, yeah, look back at this video that I did earlier. By the way, this guy George Soros, man, whoa, you guys listen to this shit. This is crazy. I actually put it on the Discord, so you guys make sure you guys check out the Discord. But this guy, it's like, who really started the war in Ukraine? It's like this guy just straight up asked him. This was like in 2014, 8 years ago. Like you think that these villains, these super villains, are like, shady and crafty and all that shit. But nah, this motherfucker just straight up tells you what an IS is. It's crazy.
George Soros, pleasure to have you on.
Same here.
First on Ukraine, one of the things that many people recognized about you was that you, during the revolutions of 1989, funded a lot of dissident activity, civil society groups in Eastern Europe, in Poland, the Czech Republic. Are you doing similar things in Ukraine?
Well, I set up a foundation in Ukraine before Ukraine became independent of Russia. And the foundation has been functioning ever since. And it played an important part in events now.
Do you think Ukraine will be able to...
Yeah, it's weird. Like this he's just mad candid. It's like, they're like, hey, they think that, Putin accuses the Ukrainians of being anti-Semitic fascists. Have you detected virulent anti-Semitism? And he's like, yeah, anti-Semitism is part of the DNA of that part of the world. So there's anti-Semitism. Like, what? He just like straight up tells you. It's like, you would think he's like, nah, like you gotta like trap him in a corner. The guy's like, nah, I'd do that. Like, yeah, I fucking kill those fucking kids. I don't give a shit. What are you gonna do? I'm fucking rich. Anyway. But yeah, sorry. What were we talking about? It was just pretty impressive. And, I'm not going to have another opportunity. This is this video I made. And you guys heard it before, but I don't produce anything. But I'm still listening. You don't produce anything? Nothing. That guy looks like Elon Musk. So how do you fight wars? With sticks! Yeah, so everybody else kind of protects their wealth and all that shit, and we're just kind of like, whatever. So anyway, let's go to the last one. Why I don't thank Americans for other Americans not beating my ass. Because the thing is this, the reality is this. This kid's getting, he's getting cute. I don't like it. Anyway, the thing is that Americans, this is what happened. All right, so the AU has expressed deep shock over the deaths of at least 23 African migrants at the Spain-Morocco border militarized fence. But this is the thing. So basically, it's going to be a lot of death, and some people don't like looking at death. But anyway, 2,000 of them broke the border fence and tried to cross the border from Morocco into Melilla, Spain. They were met with force by the authorities. But this is the thing I want you to realize, right? 2,000 people at your border fence, break your border fence, and try to rush through, and they say it causes a stampede, because, people are running over you, they will kill you. It's not even a joke. There's this thing called Black Friday in America where people are just kind of like rushing into certain stores to get their Japanese and Chinese and Korean products, their Samsungs, their Sonys, and their whatever, right? And they rush over people, and some people do die from being trampled. It's a real thing, 2,000 people at your border, or whatever. Now, a lot of people are condemning Morocco over this, for what it's worth. And that's fine, I get it. But like, again, if we're talking about nationalism and like getting the story, you have to like obviously there's always gonna be somebody else is gonna tell you how they see it. But this is the thing about why I say you don't credit the Americans, the African Americans, for what the white Americans not killing you at the border. You know, because at the end of the day, it's like the white Americans' country, and they can kill you at the border. You know, how they treat you and how they welcome you and how they give you citizenship in a legal manner is up to these white boys, and you just got to face facts as well as fancy. So this is obviously a Moroccan person who's gonna be like, oh no, we're not that bad, but at the same time, you have to realize that it's their country that you're breaking into or breaking out of, whatever it is. But it's their country. It's not your country. And like the thing I want you to recognize when you see this kind of stuff is that this could be any of us tomorrow. You know, when shit hits the fan where you are at, and it's happening all over the world all the time, you're gonna want to go somewhere else. And how people welcome you is up to them. It's up to them. Not up to the history and this and that, so forth. It's up to them. It's up to the people at the border. As you can see, they were coming from the rainforest. They ended up falling, causing the fence to collapse under their weight. Okay, so let's say that's why they died. The migrants really armed and carrying sticks. That's what appears through the passage where the Moroccan authorities picked them up, right? As far as the people who lost their lives, unfortunately, they died of suffocation or crushing as a result of the stampede, right? The Moroccan police force cleared them with professionalism. As for those who managed to get through, they started insulting Morocco as soon as they arrived, right? Like, fuck you, we got you. The Moroccan authorities did what they could, even though 140 of them were injured, right? Now, obviously, who gives a shit, but that's the thing, though. So that's the other side of it. Now, obviously, they're brutalizing the bodies and all that kind of stuff. But again, you know, it's 2,000 people. And it's not to say that, you know, you excuse them. It's more so, it's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday in regards to, like one of the things that we do is we kind of lock ourselves in our own paradigm, in our own perspective. Oh, woe is us. We are black people. We are victims, right? But sometimes you also have to step outside and ask yourself objectively, what if 2,000 people were forcing themselves into your house? Or if you had a nation, you had a powerful black nation, and 2,000 people, let's say they're white, 2,000 white people are bum rushing themselves in to break your border in order to get into your country for whatever reason, right? What do? How do you treat them? And you could say, well, you treat them with human dignity. And that's true. You could treat people with human dignity, right? You could. And you could. And you could. And you can make that choice, or you can make the choice otherwise. And this is where power comes into place, and why Africans really need to get serious about building and developing their own lands. Because the truth is that the person on the other side, or the person on the other side of the rifle, doesn't need to. And the person on the other side of the rifle has the choice whether to pull the trigger or not. You know? And it's up to you to just not be on the other side of the rifle. Realistically. You understand? It's up to you to just not be a part of the other side of the rifle. You know? And we have to give to our people that sort of opportunity where they are not rushing into other countries, where they're not trying to break into other places, where they're not trying to break a fence, where they're not stampeding, where they're not 2,000 people armed with sticks. And, you know, you kind of see from the other thing I made about, with sticks. Yeah. But you have to just, you can't. And I mean, it sucks, but the cause behind this is the failure of our own political ambitions. It's the failure of our own political ambitions, our own economic activity, and we have to address that. So hopefully, I mean, obviously that sounds like a little bit of a coon take. I know how you're gonna say. Let's see what the comments are. But I mean, like, you just got to be realistic, right? Tanzan says, must run now, Oni. Going over to SN to talk about abortion with Tezzy. We'll catch up with you next time. Thanks for the great program. And then Trigger Happy says, it's why I don't understand how there's always a discussion as us trying to unite North Africa with the rest of Africa. Their immigration policies are dictated or mirror white people. I mean, of course they are. They have to. Like, that's the thing is this, that realistically, your immigration policy is going to have to, like, you can't have just a bunch of people running into your country. You know, part of the reason why you have borders is so that a bunch of people are not running around in your country unaccounted for. You know, you can't have unaccounted people in your country because that's like if you have it to a certain degree, to a certain extent, like after a while that can be a detriment and a danger. So anyway, that's the end of the podcast though. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Shout out to everybody who was involved. I obviously can't read everybody. Hopefully you guys can catch the playback later. I know it's not the best take in the world. I know people would rather me say, oh, well, it was the African. But, you know, yeah, at some point we have to just, you know, face facts as well as fancies. Our situation is troubling, but that's why we have to push ourselves to advance ourselves politically and economically and culturally and socially and everything. We have to advance ourselves because no one else will. But appreciate everybody for their time. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can check in next week. And until next time, Shemem Hotep, Ankuja, Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Necher.